No! I'm on the podcast this week, Jeff. I don't care who you've got lined up to be on here with you. It's going to be me, especially with what we got to talk about today. I'm doing it 3 times in a row, motherfucker.
I invited you here. I don't know. There's nobody else here. It's just you and me. I wasn't going to do the podcast with my dog this week.
Okay. Well, now I feel stupid. So, I figured it was a trick.
Yeah, John is here. 3 in a row. Finally, the hat trick of podcasts. Hat trick. John, congratulations. I tell you what, that's only the first of just 1 million exciting things that happened this week. I'm so glad that I didn't have to scrape the bottom of the barrel. There's so many good things to talk about. We got trailers.
So many things happened today.
So many trailers.
Not even just this week, today.
Yeah. I woke up this morning and it was like gaming Christmas.
So it literally, the gods somewhere went, you know all this political stuff that y'all have all been bitching about and complaining about and all this? Here's some video game stuff and some movie stuff to kind of take your mind off of that.
Yeah, I got to tell you, my plan this week was not to drink, and then I watched the third presidential debate.
Oh, I didn't even bother.
I'm going to go get fucked up.
I watched Ash versus the Evil Dead instead.
That's a great that was a great move on your part. That was a great move on your part.
I'm still watching through season 1 with Amanda.
Yeah, she was telling me about it. Apparently, I saw some people online talking about it. I'll tell you what, man, there's just too much stuff.
Yeah, I agree.
I can't afford to watch TV anymore because I'm trying to finish. I finished Mafia 3. I'm trying to finish Gears of War 4 so that I can start playing what came out, Battlefield 1, so that Dragon Quest Builders is sitting there with like 10% of the gameplay.
Oh, tell me about it, dude. WWE 2K17, I'm still playing that every now and then.
I don't even own it yet.
Yeah, I do. But I'm playing Mafia 3 as well. After I get done with that, I want to borrow Gears of War 4 from you.
Yep.
The Rock Band Rivals came out. Haven't even touched it.
I don't even have time for Rock Band Rivals.
Yeah, Rock Band Rivals expansion came out. I really want to play it and do that, but like I was gonna play it, but like I got sick at the beginning part of the week.
Yeah.
So it's like today's the first day I'm actually feeling like I could play it. So instead I'm here.
Well, and then as if all that wasn't enough, I kept forgetting about it.
Yeah.
But next week, on Tuesday, the Dark Souls 3 Ashes of Ariandel comes out, and I need like 2 or 3 different spec characters that are ready to go for that. To make sure.
So now you got to play that.
I got to play Dark Souls 3 all over again, which means I'm trying out. Like I've restarted 4 times. I've got a bunch of different builds. I finally found a super overpowered weapon that breaks the game. There were some patch notes today. Oh man, I don't even have this on the news list, John. But the first line of the patch notes for Dark Souls 3 was, the poise stat has been adjusted across the board for blah, blah, blah. And it was just like, are you guys going to fix this? Are you finally going to fucking fix Dark Souls 3 poise? Because I don't know if you know this, but there's a thing in Dark Souls that basically affects how much precedence your attack gets, like if somebody can interrupt you or not, called poise. They just took it out in Dark Souls 3. And then I'll be putting it back in. And there's there's this huge patch log. So there's all that. There's all that. There's also movies. We got movies. We got video games. We got everything. We got everything.
So much stuff going on.
I even did stuff last week. I even have something to talk about that I did last week. And that was that I went to go see Allison Murphy launch her new project.
That's right.
Super Blog. I got to see that. You guys should check it out. It's Super Blog. It seems great so far. I also got to see the world premiere of Thunder Hag.
Yeah.
Allison Murphy's black metal witch metal band. It was fantastic.
Yeah. I've seen pictures of her on stage with the band, which I thought looked great. I saw one person with a camera recording, but the audio, because it's a cell phone, was so drowned out by the speakers that I couldn't actually hear anything. Yeah. So I was like, I can assume that they're good. I can't tell because the speaker, the microphone on this, whatever this video is shitty.
Yeah.
But I'm just gonna assume it's good because why wouldn't it be?
No, it's it's a lot of I think it's like half of Karaoke Apocalypse.
Yeah.
And they got this whole theme black metal. I honestly, I was listening to it and I was like, oh my god, I feel like I'm back in like 1998 with like Typo Negative or like Danzig or something like that. But it's also really weird. I mean, I don't know if you've ever experienced this before, John, but it's really strange when you see somebody that you know that's just a regular person walk out onto stage with a band and start fucking singing these like metal songs. Like, I've never seen Allison Murphy sing in public before.
Yeah.
And she was not only just singing, but she had like this whole like witch queen like get up on. Yeah. So it was awesome. I highly recommend everybody keep an eye out. I think they're going to be putting up like a Bandcamp page at some point.
I think they have a Facebook fan page already.
Do they? Okay.
If I'm not mistaken.
Yeah. If you guys get over here, in their plan, I would highly recommend checking them out. I really liked it. Also, go check out Super Blog. So, but yeah, we went down there. I got to see. It's been a while since I've seen everybody. This is Jason and everybody showed up. There was
except for me.
Except for John and Amanda. Well, but
there were reasons.
Okay,
we couldn't go.
Sure,
it was unfortunate. We wanted to go, but we couldn't.
But it was cool. I'm sure there'll be opportunities to do more things in the future. So yeah, I did that, and I've been playing. Like I said, I beat Mafia. I played half of Gears of War 4. Played a bunch of Dark Souls 3. Yeah, that's pretty much it. Oh, I watched a bunch of horror movies. I saw that, or not horror movies. I watched 3 horror movies that I thought were horror movies, but none of them were horror movies.
Oh, well,
they
there you
were
go.
all suspense thriller movies instead.
Oh, okay.
But the one that really stood out was that The Handmaiden. Went to go see that. The Park Chan-wook movie.
Okay.
That's a real weird movie. It's real long, real crazy, and it was good. I like all the stuff that he does.
Yeah.
Even though I still think that Sympathy for Mr. Vengeance is the best of the
that's the right title.
Of the Revenge trilogy.
Yeah.
Like, I think it's better than Old Boy, even though Old Boy got a lot more attention. I like Sympathy for Mr. Vengeance probably more than Old Boy.
Yeah.
I mean, that hallway
I can understand
scene,
that.
That's some out of sight shit.
Yeah.
But well, John, what about you? Have you been up to anything?
Like I said, I've been playing WWE 2K17.
Okay.
I've been playing Mafia 3. I've been watching the first season, taking it slow on Ash vs. the Evil Dead.
Okay.
I watched both Elvira movies.
Nice.
Both Elvira, Mistress of the Dark, from the one from the 80s,
Sure.
and then her more recent one.
I didn't know she had a more recent one.
It's on Hulu. It's called Elvira's Haunted Hills.
Okay.
And it's different because it takes place in like medieval times. Mm-hmm. And she's like, it's.
Oh no, I've heard of that. I remember.
It's actually written like one of the bad movies that she normally like does on like her TV movie Macabre series.
Sure.
So it's like it feels like it's specifically written, but she's the main character, but she treats it just like her little interjections.
Oh, nice.
So like someone will make a comment and then she'll make a little joke and then everyone will look at her and she'll just be like, okay, sorry. Kind of.
Man, I've seen that first Elvira movie a whole bunch of times. Yeah. She's so funny.
Yeah, she is.
She's so great. Funny. I think Elvira is the best.
Yeah, we'd started the month watching because Amanda a while back got a box set of her movie Macabre series. Like, it was the entire series of the second series she did.
Okay.
And we watched like most of them. So I've been kind of off and on been watching a lot of Elvira stuff for the last 2 months.
You can do a lot worse.
No, they're all great. But yeah, and then I said Ash vs. Evil Dead, and
I think the only thing I'm keeping up with is Westworld, and I'm really liking Westworld.
I am keeping up with Flash and Arrow. That was just restarted, along with Legends of Tomorrow, and haven't watched Supergirl. I really feel like I should, but I want to watch the first season. And I haven't watched it yet, so I'm hesitant to jump into the second season.
Sure.
But Flash, I'm a little like, Flash was like my show. That was the show, my go-to show for DC awesomeness on TV. Mm-hmm. This season so far, I'm a little lackluster with it.
Yeah, it seems like everybody that was all into the Flash is no longer all super into the Flash.
Yeah. And I'm hoping it gets better. I'm hoping they bring me back. It's not terrible yet.
Yeah.
But it's definitely not as good as it has been.
Okay.
And, I'm willing to give it a chance. Arrow is kind of meandering. It kind of feels like it's been meandering for the last couple seasons.
I feel like all of those CW superhero shows and maybe Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. as well. It was like it was a time when they were all first coming on where everybody was super excited about them, and I feel like that excitement, or at least the vociferousness of that excitement, has dropped off significantly. I mean, it seemed like in the beginning, every other week, there were people on my Facebook feed talking about like how awesome this episode was and how awesome that episode was.
Which it seems like Supergirl is now that show.
Oh,
like
is
it's like
it? Okay.
how like, and both for A, how awesome Supergirl is, but B, how awesome they are nailing Superman. Like the actor is perfect for it. His mannerisms as Superman and as Clark Kent are supposedly fucking on spot. The writing is great. Everyone's like, hey, Zack Snyder, this is Superman.
Yeah.
Not that piece of shit you're terribly having what's his name act as.
Maybe I'll have to check it out. I'm a big fan of Superman. But...
Yeah. So I don't know. Like I said, I don't want to just jump into it because Superman doesn't appear until the second season.
Yeah.
But I want to watch all of season 1 first.
No, it's easy. Like
So-
she's on the like island, and then there's nothing outside, and then she makes the little dragonfly out of the wand, right? And
What?
then Supergirl. It's the story of Supergirl.
Not what?
And then the old guy, they banish him into the
are you
Phantom
talking
Zone,
about the movie?
And then she gets sucked out or something.
With Helen Slater? Where the fuck her name is?
And then it's like she runs between the trees and she turns into Supergirl. But then that bitch wants to steal her boyfriend, and she gets a hold of a little spinning
no
apricot or whatever
No,
it is.
that's not. That hasn't. No.
Magic, man. She's made out of magic, and she makes that dude fall in love with her.
I'm gonna say this. I own that movie on DVD. I loved that movie, but no,
The movie is terrible.
it is terrible.
It's so bad. Like, it has nothing to do with Superman at all.
It's not supposed to.
Yeah, but it's I don't know. I mean, I look back on it. I remember liking it when I was younger, but I look back on it and just go, man, what a mess this movie is.
Oh no, it is. It totally is.
Super surreal.
Back when I was still doing Geek Bombast, we were doing commentaries. Me and Amanda were doing commentaries on movies.
Yeah.
And that was one of them that we did. That was fun.
This would be super easy. I mean, just like what is going on here?
Yeah.
Get
So we
every
always
moment.
did like we'd do the commentary and then we'd have like a bonus episode where it's us talking about the movie we just watched and then announcing what the next commentary would be. So it was just like we do it once a month. So basically you get 2 episodes a month. One is the commentary and then the next one is just kind of us going, okay, what the fuck did we just watch?
Yeah.
Like we're not trying to riff it or anything like that. Just what was that?
Who was the male love interest in that movie?
Oh,
It's somebody. It's like
God.
you wouldn't think that it was
I don't remember.
this one person, but it is. Let's see.
Though I did like that they did cast Helen Slater. Is that the actress?
Sure.
Am I saying the name right?
I don't know.
Yes, it is Helen Slater. She plays Supergirl's adopted Earth mom in the series.
Let's see. Faye Dunaway, Peter O'Toole, Hart Bachner, who was.
Wasn't he like a?
Let's see. He was Ellis in Die Hard. That's what it was.
Okay.
I remember listening to this on We Hate Movies a little while back, and I remember them pointing that out and being like, "Yeah, the hunky dude in Supergirl was coked up Ellis in Die Hard."
Yeah.
That's what it was. I tell you what, John, we got a lot to get through. Do you want to get to go with the movies?
Let's do this, man. I'm all for this.
All right, enough talking about Ellis from Die Hard. Even though I could talk about Ellis from Die Hard for a while.
Who couldn't, Bubby? What are you doing?
So, all right, we got some movie trailers. Let's start with the movie trailers. Let's get everybody warmed up. Okay, I gotta say, there's a trailer for Logan came out today.
Yeah, it took me by surprise as well. Old man Logan.
Here's the weird thing. I think the thing that's most strange about this is there are a lot. Okay, I didn't know that Hugh Jackman with a beard from a little ways away looks an awful lot like Mel Gibson. Because every time I see the trailer thumbnail, I'm like, is that Mel Gibson? And then I start thinking about, like, wouldn't Mel Gibson be perfect as an old version of Hugh Jackman, as like the broken down old crappy version of Hugh
it turns
Jackman?
out Hugh Jackman is a good old broken down version of Hugh Jackman.
Yeah, and he's just
But yeah, it's old man. They're adapting parts, elements of the Old Man Logan storyline, obviously from the comics, but they can't actually adapt the whole thing because they don't have the rights to those characters. But
so he's like, so what? He's old, and him and Charles Xavier are like rusted out junkyard roommates or whatever.
I don't know if that's the case. I think from what I gather here, Xavier comes to him.
Okay. Isn't Old Man Logan supposed to take place in the future?
Yeah, no, it does.
they're like pickup trucks and like beds with sheets on them. And
well, it's also a rundown future. Like it's not like there's futuristic.
That guy's got a new Ford F-150. He's driving.
It's new now. That guy had a robotic hand.
Well, it's the mutants, all right. But like the guns there
are no mutants. He says it in the trailer.
He's a mutant. He's a mutant. Charles Xavier's a mutant. What do you mean there's no more mutants?
That's what he says. He goes, there are no more mutants anymore.
I think he's being dramatic. I think he's being an over-dramatic Wolverine. I think he's being an emo, over-dramatic Wolverine. Do we know who the blonde guy antagonist robot hand dude is?
I vaguely remember it, but I don't remember exactly who it is.
And then I remember somewhere reading that, like, the kid is supposed to be a young X-23 or something like that?
It's possible.
Okay. What can we get out of this trailer? What? Mutants are gone. It's kind of the half future.
Wolverine's powers seem to not be working as well as they used to be.
Yeah, he's all beat up and not healing, and Charles Xavier's in a big like metal bin, and everybody's all super emo, and then like dudes in trucks with guns.
A lot of people are referring to this as Last of Us. Except instead of Last of Us, it's Logan of Us.
Logan of Us.
Yeah.
He does kind of look like Joel a little bit, kind of like the garbage version of Joel. I can say that I am. Man, I got to go off on a little personal aside. I saw this trailer because Grant reposted it, and he reposted it on Twitter, and he said that, like, oh man, I always get so choked up when I hear the song. So the song in the trailer is the Johnny Cash cover of the song "Hurt," and there's a part of me that is just incredibly salty, John, about the fact that more people know that song as like a Quotey Fingers Johnny Cash song. I used to work at this place, and one day this young guy that I worked with ran in, and he was all a Twitter, he was all a flutter, and he was like, oh my God, do you guys know that Nine Inch Nails covered a Johnny Cash song? And I was like,
you heard what Trent Reznor said about that, right?
You need to come over here and sit down. I'm going to punch you in the nuts a few times.
But no, you heard what Trent Reznor said about that.
No.
Someone asked him about that. He's like, how do you feel about the fact that people recognize his version of the song over yours?
Yeah.
Because a lot of people thought that your version was a cover.
Yeah.
And he looked at him and went, you know what? When he played that for me before the album was released. Mm-hmm. And you know what I told him? This song is yours now. Mine doesn't exist.
Nah, fuck that.
Trent Reznor says it's his. He owns that song.
Dude,
his version is better. Trent Reznor was like, his version is better than mine. I don't care. It's his song.
John.
Forever.
John. Trent Reznor, Johnny Cash, you, Charles Xavier, or the Lord himself could say whatever they fuck they want to about that song. That song came out when I was 16 and all emo. That's going to be a fucking Nine Inch Nails song.
I understand.
Forever, no matter who says what about what.
I understand. I'm just saying, it's, well, I mean, that's also what.
It's not a bad version of the song.
It's a superior version of the song.
I tend to disagree. That's just my opinion. But the original has a lot of different types of pathos directly connected to it.
It does.
When the Johnny Cash version came out, I remember when it came out and it was new and it was a cover and it was blah. And anyway, sorry.
Yeah, no, I get it. It was yeah. And then also, but I also know how you feel because I remember when I was back when I worked at Dell, me and a bunch of friends went out to dinner, coworkers.
Yeah.
And or the original Beatles version of not Beatles, but the Live and Let Die.
Okay.
The original.
Okay. Yep.
And then one of the guys at the table went, who did a shitty cover of the Guns N' Roses song? And every other person at the table was like, I'm going to beat the shit out of you.
I'll tell you what, I didn't put it on this list, but there was this other movie that I watched a trailer for, A Cure for Wellness, that has, this shit's getting out of hand, John. It's getting way out of hand. It has a cover of I Want to Be Sedated by the Ramones, sung like super slow by a female singer, and the music isn't even remotely related to that. And I'm just like, it's a fucking Ramones song. Come on. Like, are you out of other dumb songs that you could turn into slow ballads for your trailer that you got to go? At least, although I'm not as biggest fan of everyone else in the world of this version of Hurt. At least they just used an existing cover instead of re-recording a fast song to be super slow.
Also, I love Johnny Cash, so I can't fault.
I wanted to make some trailers where they take a super slow song and then speed it the hell up. I mean, I don't know. Anyway, this looks all right. I'm kind of Wolverined out. Like they've this is what, the third?
This is his last one.
Solo Wolverine. Good. There are other X-Men.
No, he's basically said that after this, he's not being Wolverine anymore. Like, he's not going to appear in an X-Men movie as Wolverine.
Good.
This is his last movie as Wolverine.
Excellent.
And apparently, he had told them, unless they were to do an Old Man Logan type story,
he didn't want to do
that he wasn't going to do another one, period. And they went, okay, here's Old Man Logan.
I don't have any serious conceptual problems with Wolverine. I hate him. I hate the fact that there are, 5 X-Men movies and 3 Wolverine movies. Like, there are other X-Men. And in fact, this weekend, I was looking for something to watch on HBO Go, and I ended up watching Deadpool again because it's on HBO right now. And I was like, how amazing is it that we got, one, Colossus, a criminally overlooked character in the X-Men franchise, especially the movies. The movies, like in 2 of them or whatever. And Negasonic Teenage Warhead, a character we've never seen before, that was just like instantaneously, how awesome is this character? So I hope this is his last one so that we can I want to see a Negasonic Teenage Warhead, Emma Frost road trip buddy movie, or I don't know, something that's not just another fucking, I don't know, X-Men blowing stuff up. Man, Deadpool's a good movie.
Yeah. But no, I thought the trailer looked great. I'm glad that to see it is different than the Old Man Logan story that actually happened, because I was not a fan of that book. Too much Hulk incest. Yeah.
Okay. There was also, speaking of all the superheroes, there was a very short Guardians of the Galaxy 2 teaser. It was actually more than I expected. Like
I agree.
I really expected them to just cut it off before there was any dialogue or anything.
Yeah, because James Gunn shared it online first and said, hey, we're still a month or 2 away from the actual trailer. Here's a teaser.
Yeah.
To keep you sedated.
Well, it was, okay, so it was, don't say sedated, that's just going to set me off again. So, okay, let's just start with, I understand why. I kind of wish they'd used a different song.
Yeah, no. I think it's because it's the teaser they used it.
I think so,
in
too.
The actual trailer, it's probably going to be something that was not used in the first one.
Because the first one soundtrack was so phenomenal. I want them to do it again. I want them to do it with different songs. I don't want them to just rehash the stuff from the first one. But honestly, the way that it is they're kind of doing the ooga chaga ooga, and they're showing kind of these kind of artsy little shots of the movie. And I really, really expected it to end without any kind of dialogue or anything, but they have a real nice little scene where Drax is talking to Star-Lord and saying...
Some people are dancers, some people are not.
Yeah, and he says, what does he say? He's like... you just need to find a woman that's as pathetic as you are.
Yeah.
And then he gives him a hug. He does that thing where he's like, do you need a hug? And Star-Lord's like, no, that's all right. And then he hugs him anyway. You know what? Watching this, as soon as I got done watching this, I was like, I really want to watch Guardians of the Galaxy again. That was such a good movie. I've seen it so many times.
Oh, man, and the movie poster they posted for it?
Oh, I didn't see that.
That was fucking awesome.
Yeah.
It's this black and white photo of them all leaning against a wall.
Mm-hmm.
And it just says Guardians of the Galaxy 2, Volume 2, obviously.
Yeah. Oh, it sounds like an album cover.
Yeah, it looks kind of like an album cover.
And then at the very end, there's this Rocket Raccoon. He's got the tiny little Groot in the Ravager spacesuit or whatever sticking out of his backpack. So, okay. Enough gushing. What we can tell a few things from this. It seems like there was a picture of what's her face, Karen Gillian from the first one.
Yeah, Nebula.
Nebula, yeah. So it looks like she's back.
Yeah, she's back in the movie. There's also a new female called Mantis.
Okay. I like the fact that apparently what's his face, Arrow guy.
Yeah.
Now has his full dumb looking mohawk.
Yeah, he has his full mohawk.
Michael.
Now.
What is this guy's name?
Michael Rooker.
Rooker, yeah.
Is the actor.
Yeah. I like the way that they made it a little short cyber mohawk, and I like that it's now a big, stupid-looking mohawk. This looks an awful lot like, now that I'm looking at this screen grab of him, this looks an awful lot like the prison from the first movie, but are those all Ravagers? They're all dressed in the kind of red...
Yeah.
I don't know. Yeah, so Star-Lord's armor looks a little bit bigger outside of that. I mean, it looks like a... Oh, then there's these weird people... with something on their face. I bet this is from the first 5 minutes of the movie or something like that. But anyway, super psyched. More excited than I am for anything else except for the actual gaming stuff we have.
Yes.
But as far as movies go, I will break my rule and go to the theater on opening night to watch Guardians of the Galaxy 2. I don't like to do that, but
I don't have a rule that says I don't do that. But I'm probably going to go see it opening night because I fucking love Guardians of the Galaxy.
And he's got a trench coat now, man.
We had a trench coat in the first movie.
Oh, it was like a short jacket, wasn't it?
At the beginning of the first movie, he has a trench coat.
Okay, fair enough. I need to go watch that movie again. All right, and you know what? We're already out of time. Hey, there was an Assassin's Creed trailer. Do you have anything to say about it?
A little bit.
Okay, well, you go.
I mean,
I'm not gonna.
It looks like Assassin's Creed first and foremost. I have no problem with it in that regard. It kind of I like what I see. It's like, oh, it looks like Assassin's Creed. If I have one real problem with it, it is, and I mentioned this to you before we started recording.
Yeah,
is that there's one line of dialogue that made me want to like just punch whoever wrote it.
Yeah,
which is his bloodline goes back to the Assassin's Creed.
Yeah,
it's like no, that's not a thing.
Well, maybe they're saying that his bloodline goes all the way back to the time when they wrote down the Assassin's Creed. The first time.
No. That's not a thing.
No?
The Assassin's Creed was a mantra that they said or whatever, but that wasn't like a thing. That wasn't a point of reference for the timeline. That was it was a thing. It was the credo. It was what the fuck are you writers doing?
I just still think that like this. I think that what I might when I look at the trailer for this that. It looks too convoluted.
It does look a little bit convoluted.
It seems like there's like the whole like what's his face? I can't remember anybody's name today. What's
Fassbender?
Fassbender, yeah, Fassy Fasses. Like there's a whole like Fassbender, his story, and then there's like the Abstergo prison, which seems like there's going to be some kind of prison break at the end of it, and then there's also going back to the Spanish Inquisition, and there's going to be something going on in there, and it's just like I have a problem recently with a lot of modern Hollywood movies feeling like they need to be way more complicated than they need to be, and I kind of lose the plot line. Like I felt that way. I was talking with somebody about the new Ghostbusters. I watched that, and it was like it just didn't seem to hang together as well. And I worry. I had that problem with some of the Nolan Batmans, where they were so all over the place that I was having a hard time keeping up with the main story thread. And I hope that's not a problem here.
I will say I did like the way they did the bleed. Effect, or at least I assume it's a bleed effect at one point, because at one point it's like the modern time, but you see Fassbender in the robes, but there's like this smoky effect coming off of him.
Yeah.
At one point in the trailer, I thought that looked really cool, and if that is indeed bleed effect that occurs.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, it looks okay. I mean, here's the thing, and this is what I'm gonna be honest. It reminds me of Prince of Persia.
Okay.
The movie.
I never saw that.
Because if you actually watch the movie, I enjoyed it. I thought it was a fun movie.
Yeah.
But a lot of people fucking hated that movie.
Oh yeah.
Like, oh, it's not anything like Prince of Persia, and it's fucking, fuck this movie, and blah 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 blah. I liked it. I have a feeling if you liked that movie, you'll probably end up liking this movie.
Okay, we'll see.
Because it looks like it.
It's still the problem with all of these is that, as we very well know, trailers lie all the time.
Yes.
This movie could be really good.
Yeah.
It could be really terrible. It could be mediocre. We just really have no way of saying
this is
for
true.
Sure. All right, let's get to it. Enough of this. This is horse shit. Enough of this going back in time to other eras. We need to talk about serious things like games that go back in time to other eras. They finally put out the fucking trailer for Red Dead 2.
It's more of a teaser.
Okay. They've been talking about it all week. Rockstar was an a-hole. They put up the red background with the Rockstar logo
then
on
the silhouettes.
Monday, then the silhouettes, and then they announced it on Wednesday? Was it yesterday when they actually announced it?
Yeah.
And then today they put out the trailer.
Or I think on Tuesday they announced it and then said the trailer's coming out on Thursday.
And John and I were talking about this before we started. I always forget that the first Rockstar trailer doesn't ever have anything in it. Like, you remember the first Grand Theft Auto 5 trailer where it was like this. It was just showing different shots of Los Santos. It didn't talk about any of the characters. The second one was the Skeletons one that had all of the dialogue between the three different characters. In fact, I was going down the list showing Amanda a bunch of different Rockstar trailers, and I noticed when I was doing that all of my favorite trailers were the second trailer. And in fact, the one I need to be checked on this, so it's very possible that I'm talking about my ass, but it was listed when I looked at because I was showing her the original Red Dead Redemption, or the Red Dead Redemption My Name is John Marsden trailer, which is still one of my favorite trailers of all time.
It's a great trailer.
And it was listed as Red Dead Redemption trailer number 2, My Name is John Marsden. So there was probably one before that. But
having said that, the graphics I'm looking at look great.
Oh, they look so good.
They look so varied as well. Like, I mean, there's different areas, and there's I think watching a trailer breakdown, someone basically did state that they've been able to whittle down that this does take place before the last game. It is a prequel.
Yes,
because
there's one shot. So there's this one shot of a street that has a general store, and it has a carriage as opposed to any of the other stuff that we've seen in the other one. It also has electric lighting, which happened in the latter half
of the
1800s.
1888.
Something around there, because the other one is there's a shot of a train with a bunch of buffalo around it. By 1900, the buffalo population was so depleted that you wouldn't see a herd like that.
Yeah.
So the general consensus
You read the same article.
Yes, probably so. The general consensus is that this is going to be late 1800s.
So what do you think?
Well,
I mean, obviously they're not going to. The main character is not going to be John Marsden.
Yeah, I don't know if it's going to be Marsden. There's a thing. Okay, on the Okay, first off, it looks amazing. All of the environmental stuff looks fantastic, and Rockstar, they are so good at this stuff by now. Like, they're so good at just making worlds. There's parts of this trailer where you see animal life doing different stuff, like
and there's different weather conditions, and it like I hope that this is these are actual like scenes of in game and not just pre-rendered.
So
footage.
Far, what I can tell you right now, just to interject, I'm sorry. So far, in going back and watching a bunch of the Grand Theft Auto old trailers and the Red Dead trailers and all that stuff, so far Rockstar has not lied in their trailers.
Okay.
Like, the things that are in their trailers, that's the way the game looks. Even going back to the GTA 5, the first trailer they had that was just for PS3 and Xbox 360, that stuff looked like it looked on the... there's some quibbling back and forth about maybe smaller things, right?
Yeah.
But so far Rockstar has not pulled a Ubisoft or or whatever.
Well, they know better.
Pick your other company.
I'd like to think that Rockstar knows better.
Now, we can get to it later, but there is a possibility that this might be. I think this is PlayStation 4, Xbox One version, honestly, because
they've said it's only coming out on PlayStation 4 and Xbox One.
Let's come back to that. Let's come back to that later. But I think that some people have speculated that this is from a PS Pro / Scorpio version, and that it's not going to run like this on the standard one. I think that if you look back to the graphical fidelity of what Grand Theft Auto 5 looks like on the PlayStation 4 and the Xbox One, the base PS4 Xbox One, I think this is comparable. I think that they've learned some new tricks. They've refined their engine quite a bit. But I don't think that I'm not seeing anything here that is outside of the realm of what we see as far as the higher tier graphics on the current console generation goes. So here's some things that I liked. There's a point where you notice that we were just frozen on it. A person, like two people in a canoe.
Yeah.
There's probably going to be an opportunity for a lot of for some Indian stuff to happen, which we didn't really see.
Because there was a dream catcher in the tree.
Yeah. There's the scene of a dog barking at a bunch of vultures. I like the fact that even in the original Red Dead, they had a lot of kind of animal tech and kind of environmental ecosystem stuff going on, and I'm hoping that they do that. It's like they did in GTA 5 as well with the hunting that Trevor does later on. I really like the idea. At the very end and in the poster, they have 7 figures, and we don't really know anything about these 7 figures, but at the very end, what's the line where he says, like, when I tell you to run, run as fast as you can, or something like that. And then at the very end of the trailer, you see 7 people on horses riding up. And then there's also on the trailer, there's 7 people on there as well. I think it would be, this could possibly be Grand Theft Auto, like a GTA Online, because they have said they're going to have some kind of online component.
Yeah, they did say that they're going to have some type of online component for the game.
So this could totally be an online thing. I think that it would be really, really fascinating and really, 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 really good if, instead of this being an online component, if they did the whole 3 different characters from GTA 5 thing, but with 7 different characters. because the original Red Dead Revolver had like 12 different characters that you could play as, and I think that they probably learned a lot, and it would be very freeing of them to be able to have characters from different walks of life with different backgrounds and different stories to tell, instead of threading the whole thing through with one character, a la John Marston from Red Dead Redemption.
Though I'd be totally okay with I don't really care for the switching between characters. I'm totally okay for just one character being the main character throughout the whole story. I'm
either way works for me, but I think it's an interesting idea to have a game that has that many different main characters.
What I was actually also curious on is like, so obviously we don't think that John Marston is going to be the main character in the game.
No.
He probably won't even be if he appears in the game at all, he won't even be a playable character. Now, my question was, could this be the start of the gang that he was previously part of?
Bill Williamson's gang.
Yeah, Bill Williamson's gang before, could it be the start of that gang?
Could be.
And we see a young Marston in it at some point.
I mean, technically, it's possible for John Marston to be in this game. He was in his, 40s?
Yeah.
And that was in 1910 was when Red Dead Redemption happened, so he could be in his 20s or late teens in this game. I really hope he's not, because as much as I fucking love me some John Marsden, I like Rockstar's characters, and I want them to write new characters, not just keep dragging the same characters
I will admit I wasn't really happy with how they dealt with GTA 4 and bringing in some previous characters from GTA 4 to GTA 5.
Oh, you mean Trevor? The introduction of Trevor?
Yeah.
No, yeah, that was
actually one of the big proponents of me not liking Trevor as a character and not wanting to play the game anymore.
He's a big old sack of crap. Yeah, I actually explained all that because when I showed Amanda the Lost in the Dam trailer, I was like, so you see these guys, and then we were watching the GTA 5 trailer. That scene is actually in the trailer where he's stomping on Johnny. But anyway, I think this is great. I think that it's fantastic for Rockstar to be going back to this franchise as opposed to doing more Grand Theft Auto. I know there are people out there who would like to see more Grand Theft Auto. I'm just fine with some new Red Dead.
Yeah, same here.
I would have been happy if they just would have announced Red Dead Redemption on the PC. Like, that would have been enough for me. Well, because
technically,
what?
You can play Red Dead Redemption on the PC soon. Technically.
What does that mean?
So PlayStation View is getting the original Red Dead Redemption.
Yep.
And it is now available, and PlayStation View is playable on PC.
Yep.
So.
Yeah, but no. What I'm talking about
That's why I said technically.
Yeah, no. I want Red Dead Redemption on the PC so that the fucking PC modders can get a hold of that shit.
Oh, I agree.
In 3 years, I can get a 4K ultra depth of field, enhanced lighting, brand new bullshit, support for Red Dead.
I agree.
But
people would do it.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you look at how far they stretched GTA 4. I mean, let alone 5. But anyway, this trailer looks great. I can't wait for. I mean, I don't know if there's. I know there's got to be some people out there who are just like, I wanted more Grand. I wanted Vice City too.
No, everybody I have to see is like, fuck yes, Red Dead Redemption is regarded as probably the best game to come out of the last generation of consoles.
Really? I don't think I would take issue with that. Because Dark Souls exists.
Yeah.
I got it in there. So before we move off of Red Dead Redemption, well, first off, do you have any further commentary on the trailer?
On the trailer itself, no, but I don't know if you've got any other things that you're going to talk about.
Well, so there's going to be some weird PS4 exclusive online stuff.
Yeah.
And it's coming to the
It's exclusive
now.
in that it goes similar to Destiny in that it'll appear on PlayStation 4 first, and then probably sometime afterwards propagate to the Xbox One.
I do kind of hope that they learn some lessons from the GTA 5 online and bulk up the online to be more interesting, because I kind of want to like Grand Theft Auto 5 online, but I'm not into racing and the shooting aspect. I'd like to see more of like a co-op experience, because didn't Red Dead Redemption have an online mode?
Yeah, it had an online mode.
Because I remember you could get had like the Red Dead Revolver skin pack
the posse
or whatever
mode
for it. Yeah,
posses.
So I don't know if they beef that up. I would like to see that. I'd like to see a little bit more out of that. I never really played the online for Red Dead
Redemption. Played it a few times. I joined a posse.
The only other thing to maybe talk about before we move on is that, as you said before, there's currently no PC release date for this. Now, whether that happens in the future, I mean, come on. We know that Rockstar likes money. But I gotta tell you, if you want a nice laugh, John, break open a bag of late night cheeseburger flavored Doritos and go down to the YouTube comments of this video. Oh my God, the PC people were so upset.
Oh, PC Master Race is just livid.
Upset. And it's like, I get it. No, I get it. You want to play the... I mean, hey, back when all I had was a PlayStation 3, there was nothing more irritating than being like, what do you mean BioShock's an Xbox 360 exclusive? I want to fucking play BioShock. I don't have $300 to buy an Xbox 360. Fucking put it out already. But I think that it was just a little... I got a little twinge of a smile on my face because it's probably going to come out on the PC eventually. There's probably going to be some even better version on the PC eventually, maybe.
Can I say something?
Oh, no.
That's what they said about Red Dead Redemption.
Okay, yes, that's true. But since then, I don't know what reason there is for them to have kept... maybe it was because they had moved on to GTA 4 development after that, close after that, or one of the other things.
Something like that.
It's the only game that Rockstar's ever put out that hasn't come to the PC. And I don't think... I think that had to do with some other set of circumstances because Rockstar likes money. But then on the other hand... Grand Theft Auto 5 made a shitload of money, just a fucking epic shitload. And this is probably going to make a fucking epic shitload of money, too.
Yeah.
And that's one of the things I love about Rockstar is that they take their time and they make really well-polished, good, put-together games. They put them out, and then they break all sales records. Meanwhile, Battlefield and fucking Call of Duty are kicking each other in the balls trying to get, the multiplayer.
Yeah, and I'm excited. I had hoped for a little bit more in the trailer, but even having said that, I loved what I saw, and I can't wait for the game to come out.
I bet in a month or two we're going to get another one that's going to be like the My Name is John Marsden trailer. It's going to be like the Skeletons trailer from GTA 5. That's going to have a bunch of character stuff in it. But for right now, we'll just have to keep ourselves warm. It's time to move off of Red Dead Redemption 2. Oh, also, very briefly, I'm going to throw in my chips with the people that are a little bit disappointed that it's not called Red Dead Revengeance or Red Dead.
No, I agree.
Ratatouille or whatever. That they don't find something else because we had Red Dead Revolver, Red Dead Redemption, Red Dead Revolution, or something like that. Anyway, let's move on past Red Dead. I'm pretty sure that nothing else interesting happened this week. We'll probably just wrap this segment up without talking about anything else. Oh, wait! Nintendo.
Yep, Nintendo blew our minds today.
Well, Nintendo kind of confirmed
every rumor that's been that's been out about the NX, except for the fact that it now has an official name.
Yep. Hello, Nintendo Switch. So let's break it down for people who haven't watched the trailer. This is essentially like a tablet gaming device that you can play on the TV with a controller, or you can pull it out of its dock. You can attach these little controllers to the sides of it. You can take it with you. So it's basically like a Wii U gamepad.
Yeah.
But the game console is all in the gamepad, so you don't have to worry about...
Can I actually talk to something about the trailers here?
Sure.
This trailer, first of all, there's no kids in the trailer.
Good.
It's all people like young adults age style.
Yeah.
And up.
I want to be about old people.
But the first thing you see is a guy playing a video game and his dog barks at him and he's like, oh, okay. So then he basically undocks the thing and then goes to the dog park and then plays his video game and ignores his fucking dog.
Yep.
Then the second part of clip is a guy at an airport, and he gets on a plane. Not only does he get the aisle seat, he takes both armrests. That dude's a douche. The guy who's playing the console is a fucking douche.
I'm not going to argue with you.
How dare you?
All right, so let's go back. So it looks like, all right, let's break down what's going on. The console itself appears to be something along the like an iPad, like a kind of a thick iPad.
Yeah, it does.
It's got a kickstand in the back of it, so you can set it up, and then it has basically think about an iPad, but it's got two. It's like you take a controller, cut it in half, flatten out those two pieces, and they lock on to the sides.
If you have a Wii U, grab the Wii U pad, look at it, imagine you're cutting off the controllers right at the screen,
right?
And then those two sides that you have of the controller, those are essentially two smaller controllers now that can be either played with both hands as one controller. You can also dock it into a docking station,
it's another controller.
Another
it's a separated controller. Yeah.
Or you can play multiplayer, and each person has a half of it to control the multiplayer.
Yeah, because each side of the controller has an analog stick, shoulder buttons, one of the start/select buttons, and then 4 face buttons on it, so you can turn it and basically get yourself like a tiny little Nintendo controller.
Yeah.
But then the whole unit docks into a base and then can be hooked up to a TV. Also, they look like they have something that looks almost identical to the current Pro controller for the Wii U that you can use instead of that if you want to use a full-size controller. Because one of the things that I will say is that the little controllers that are on the sides of this thing, even when you look, I was actually just taking a look. You can see the backs of these things. We don't have a hell of a lot of shots of this thing yet, but it doesn't look like there's a lot of like grip. So most controllers have like a grip, or at least they're contoured outwards so that you have something to wrap your hand around. This looks much flatter. Like the controllers that are hooked to the sides of it looks much flatter. In fact, you can see it when he takes the little controller dock apart at the very beginning, that like the controller dock has what would be normal comfortable hand stuff on the back of it, but the units that he slides out of it are like very thin.
Yeah.
They don't have any kind of contour. So I got to wonder how comfortable it is playing the actual unit when it's detached, if it's just super flat, because your back of your hand is going to have, I don't know. We'll see.
I'll fucking buy. I plan to buy one in March.
I'll tell you some of the other things that are worrying to me. Now, of all the companies in the world, I would probably trust Nintendo more than probably more than Sony or Xbox on this hardware front. But the worrying thing about this is the way that these two controllers attach to the sides of this thing, and wear and tear. How long is this going to last? Because they click in and attach, but since they're made to be removable, this is by far, there's going to be some limits as to how strong the connection between these controller parts and the sides of what's going to have to be a fairly heavy piece of equipment are going to be. So I'm a little worried about that, just because it's possible that you might end up with something that sags, or something where the connection point between the two sides is a little bit loose, and if that happens, then it's not going to be quite as
I can understand that
good of an experience. Other than that, though, I really like what I'm seeing. What else? What else we got? We got cartridges. That
cartridges
rumor turned out to be true.
Yeah, no CDs, cartridges only.
Yep. And yeah, it looks like. And then there's the games. Let's talk about some games. We've seen. They
showed Zelda Breath of the Wild on there.
Right.
They showed a new Mario game that has not been announced yet. They showed a Mario Kart looking game.
Yep.
They showed a very different Splatoon style game. And then they showed Skyrim.
Yeah, there's also an NBA.
Oh, and an NBA game.
An NBA game in there. I gotta tell you though, man, if Nintendo can get this right, this looks like it could be something really, really special.
Yeah.
Because it is honestly a fully portable game console, and if it has the ability to run Skyrim, or we had a report about Unreal Engine 4 totally works on it. I mean, one of the emphases of this particular little trailer is people taking their gaming console outside and hanging out with other people instead of just sitting in. You remember how all the Wii stuff was just sitting in a living room with a bunch of people? This is all the whole trailer is. I'm on a plane. I'm outside. I'm with my buddies at the basketball court. Wow, you know.
Yeah. I'm preparing for esports before the competition.
Yeah. And somebody mentioned in one of the comments that it's like what Nintendo is portraying some kind of future where Splatoon is like a serious esports thing.
It is a serious esport.
It's not a serious esport.
Yeah, totally is. Hey,
these people are going into an arena. They're going into a Dota 2 arena.
At a Nintendo event.
It's just got Nintendo on the things.
You don't know that this is not one of those E3 fucking Nintendo...
John, neither of us knows anything about anything.
No, you're right. We don't. I'm just saying, you don't know this may be some Nintendo thing. I mean, if fucking Hearthstone could be an esport...
Yeah.
So can Splatoon.
But if this works... If it works as intended, This is the sort of thing that I want Nintendo to do.
Yes.
Because this has taken their experience with mobile 3D or the 3DS mobile kind of stuff, take all the experience that they got out of making the Wii U and the tablet, and put it all together in a package where I can play a game. I'll be fucking honest with you, man. If this thing, and we'll get into the tech specs as much as we know in a minute, but I love the idea that I could be sitting up here playing Breath of the Wild and then want to go outstairs and have a cigarette and just be like, chuk, chuk, boop, and go with it. Or go to the bar or go hang out with other people or whatever. It's a little big. It's not, it's not as like portable as a 3DS. I couldn't fit it in my pocket or anything. But
it's about as big as a small tablet.
I love the idea of being able to take my gaming system with me, and have it be fully portable and still have the ability to connect it up to a TV and play it on a TV.
Yeah. And it's got a headphone jack.
Yep. And I like the ability of to have instant multiplayer with one copy. You're both looking at the same screen. This is really exciting to me. As long as they don't fuck it up. Just don't fuck it up,
I mean,
Nintendo.
Here's the thing. With the Wii U, for example, they had, and I was actually reading this, with the Wii U, they had we've got 32 different partners that are going to support the Wii U. And it's, look at all these partners we have. Well, this time they're like, we got 63.
The main things that I think it's going to, a lot of the things that I think that we need to watch out for with Nintendo is making sure that it's, you remember the original DS hinge break, DS Lite, make sure that it's put together well, make sure that it fits together well. One of the big questions is going to be battery life.
Yes, that is going to be a definitely big one.
Battery life for the individual controllers, battery life for the system in general. Like, if they do want you to take this outside, it's got to be able to last more than 3 or 4 hours.
And it being in the docking station can't destroy the battery.
Right.
Because there are some batteries that do get destroyed if you leave them docked for too long.
If it tries to continue to trickle charge instead of stopping. Yeah. But outside of that, I love the fact that I can see Skyrim running on this thing, the enhanced version of Skyrim, all the gaming stuff. We don't have any specs yet on resolutions or power.
Yeah, we don't have any of that stuff.
An unnamed NVIDIA Tegra processor.
It's supposedly better than the one that was used in the Shield.
Okay.
But it's so some people have basically been able to surmise that it's probably going to be just barely as good as the Xbox One or the PS4.
Okay. If that's the case, I'm really happy with that. The only thing that it's a little disheartening about the whole Tegra thing, because I think that it's going to make it a little bit harder to port stuff to it, but not ridiculously so. But if it has fairly decent graphical parity with my PlayStation 4, I've been saying for years that if I could put Skyrim on a portable thing and take it out with me, I would totally buy that. I would totally buy it.
And you have the ability. And you know what's even gretter?
Fucking in the trailer, they're telling me this shit.
And you know what's even better, Jeff?
What's that?
That I'm sure just made your balls just tickle with excitement.
What's that?
They announced, they listed the list of all the people who are going to support this, that are already making games for this Nintendo Switch.
Yep.
From Software is on there.
Yeah.
Is on that list.
Who's that?
From Software?
Who's that? I've never heard of those guys before.
Fuck
they make
you.
A game? They make good games?
Yeah, they made a little something called Dark Souls.
Oh, so they're the best game developer of all time. I see. Okay, well, you just had to say that. You didn't need to talk about it. Anyway,
jackass.
I think this is really cool.
Yeah.
I like the fact that Nintendo seems like a thing where it's like, I would never have imagined that I wanted it until they showed it to me, and now I'm like, I want that.
Yeah.
I want that motherfucker.
I do think it's kind of hilarious that when it was announced, everyone went, oh, no, another naming issue like with the Wii, because, the Wii sounds dirty. Switch, the term Switch apparently has sexual connotations here in the U.S.
Does it?
Well, if you do a search on Google for Switch and docking, I'm sure it...
Okay.
You're apparently going to find some not safe for work material.
Okay.
But
I do find it a little weird that when you put it in the dock, it covers the screen in a kind of weird. It's like it mostly obscures the screen.
Yeah.
But doesn't actually fully cover it. I don't know.
So and then also the logo. Kind of people are joking that it looks like a Domino's logo. I think it looks like a dice, like it's Snake Eyes, which also is kind of because Snake Eyes you lose kind of thing. So I'm kind of like, it kind of looks like. But yeah, so I mean, I don't know.
I don't know. All I know is it looks cool.
I'm excited for it.
Looks cool.
I hope it's at a decent price point. We know it's coming out in March. No specific information other than March.
Yeah.
I can't wait for more information, like a price point, the exact date.
I'll settle for some tech specs at this point. I just want some more tech specs as far as how powerful it is and how long the battery lasts and resolutions and stuff. Somebody, I think it might have been in the comment section for this on YouTube. I should not be reading YouTube comments, but was like, "Oh man, all that gameplay footage looks like it's at 480p," and I was just like, we've been watching this trailer on loop the entire time we've been doing this. I'm just like, "What are you, crazy?" Like, I don't know. I think it looks really good personally. I mean,
how is it? Like, how could you tell?
Yeah. That's I don't entirely understand that, but
I can also tell they're running it like 20 frames per second.
I don't think I have anything else to say. I think it looks real good.
Yeah, I think it looks great. I'm excited.
I want Nintendo back in this game. I want them back in the fight. You know, I want them in. I want the new Call of Duty to come out on this thing as well as the other things that I've got.
Yeah.
You know.
But yeah, no, I want this to come out. I want to own it. I want to own all the games for it. I have curious, like, is it going to be a thing where you can buy multiple docking stations without having to buy the console part over again? Mm-hmm. Is it a thing where if I buy the console and you buy a console and I come over here and can I plug my tablet portion into your docking station and it work? What does that?
I hope so. I mean, yeah. There's a lot of questions. There's an awful lot of questions.
Yeah, because I mean, like, if it's a game, like, you're like, "Hey, John, I want to play this game. I know you bought it. Can you bring your thing over?"
Yeah.
And
or you can just bring the memory card.
Yeah, well, yeah.
All right. Well, you know what? We're now officially running late, so
let's keep going.
Whip through all the rest of this stuff. Okay, more of that. I'm going to skip that. Okay. Let's talk about Titanfall 2 for a second.
Titanfall 2!
Titanfall 2 holds a real rocky space in my mind.
Comes out at the end of the month.
I know, and I keep forgetting that because it's another one of these jackass out on Friday things. Oh, by the way, can I just say briefly for a second, fuck you, Battlefield 1. Fuck you right in your stupid fucking World War I helmet. Because Battlefield 1, like, they pulled this shit where in order to get it on Tuesday, you had to buy the $80 version of it, the early, like, first to the fight early adopter thing.
Oh.
So there's an $80 version that came out on Tuesday that I had to buy because I needed to record on Tuesday, and then the regular $60 version comes out on Friday. Yeah. This is like the third or fourth week in a row where there's some horse shit coming out on Friday that should have been coming out on Tuesday. And if you did that and you got Battlefield 1 2 weeks ahead of time, that would be cool. If you did that and you got access, pre-ordering the Call of Duty, I got access to Modern Warfare on my PlayStation 4, Modern Warfare Remastered, 30 days ahead of time. But making it so that in order to get a game on Tuesday, you know, the day that games come out, you got to spend an extra $20, and it's like, oh, here's a bunch of extra dumb skins and perks or whatever. And it's like, fuck yourself, man. So, sorry, just fuck you, EA. Anyway, speaking of which, Titanfall 2, coming out soon. I've had a weird, like, I don't know how excited. I keep forgetting that Titanfall 2 is coming out. It hasn't been a big thing on my radar. People keep reminding me of it. They're like, oh, what are you excited for? And they're like, oh, Titanfall 2 is coming out. And I go, oh, yeah, that's right. I am kind of excited. But this week they put out this single-player trailer for this.
Yeah, looks really good.
Probably the most effective trailer I've seen so far at getting me actually excited.
Yeah, no, I agree with that completely. I really want to play it.
The plot line seems to be pretty fucking, like, this seems like a really easy plot line, right? The main character
is a grunt.
Yeah, the main character finds a Titan, and the pilot of the Titan is dying, and he transfers the control over to this guy. So then this guy reluctantly has to become the Titanfall pilot, Titan pilot,
because it's like basically it's like DNA coded to him now or something.
Yeah.
Which I did read in a long time ago that was going to be a big plot point, is that everyone else in the game is really annoyed with you because you're not supposed to be a pilot,
right?
That you were never supposed to be a Titan pilot. Like, those pilots have to go through like the rigorous training and things like that before they're ever even given a Titan.
Yeah.
And you just got one on a battlefield, and because it's DNA coded you and can't be changed, and also apparently the Titan won't even agree to change.
Yeah. And then there's also this whole, like, oh man, it turns out that the Empire has a weapon that can destroy planets, so we gotta go stop them. But I've actually read some stuff about this that talk about that apparently it's like a buddy movie between the Titan and the driver guy, and it's supposed to be really good. All this trailer all looks super good. It's got good music. It's got good fucking robots blasting on stuff. I mean, I'm a sucker for robots blasting stuff anyway,
no, totally.
So, but yeah, this one totally 100% sold me.
Yeah.
I can't wait to play this.
I can't wait to borrow it from you.
It looks fantastic. The only thing that I keep coming back to is Titans were so disposable in the multiplayer. It's going to be weird to have the same robot that it doesn't just get blown up every 25 seconds.
True.
Because that's what happened to me in the single player. Also, it looks really good. Like whatever engine they're using, everything looks all nice and science fiction-y.
And like I said, I mean, this is Respawn. These are the guys that were originally the guys who made Modern Warfare.
Yep.
They know how to make a single player.
Yep. It's been a while, man.
It's just been a while since they've made a single player.
I don't know, man. Modern Warfare 3 kind of but whatever. Civilization 6 launch trailer is almost exactly what you would expect it to be. Some dude's out in the Roman era or something, and this lady, and he's like...
Well, it's like a father and his daughter talking.
Is that a daughter or is that his wife?
No, I thought it was his daughter.
Oh, I don't know. I don't
like,
really
she's like talking to him, and she's like, Father, what does this mean, or whatever, and he's like, well...
I think she said father, but I don't know. Anyway, basically, it goes through all the different eras of human history. It's a nice little trailer. It's fun to watch. It doesn't really make me excited for Civilization 6 because this isn't what Civilization 6 is about. It's about, making sure that you have enough grain to produce the units because the asshole, South Africans are trying to take over your whatever. And Abraham Lincoln's got a top hat on, and he won't shut up about demanding that you give him like ore or something.
Don't even get us started on Gandhi.
Yeah, god damn it.
Gandhi's a real asshole in these games.
I kind of got to the point a while back where I'm like, I don't want to play a game that lasts for 18 hours per gameplay session from start to end, where when I finish, the thing to do is just basically start up a brand new game.
Yeah.
Like, I don't have any interest in doing that.
But yeah, it's a cute trailer, though.
It's a cute trailer, yeah. Apparently this guy with the beard is everybody in human history. He's like the Wright brother, and I like the fact that at the very end that it switches back over to the daughter inside of a rocket ship going to space. Nice trailer. Go watch it if you haven't seen it. It's fun. What has a little bit more meat, though, is this new Prey trailer.
I was actually interested in this once you pointed out to what it was, and I started watching it.
Gave us some more information about what the fuck is actually going on in Prey 2.
Apparently it's an alternate history.
Yep. Alternate history where the Russians discovered basically this extraterrestrial life. And then they built, in conjunction with the Americans, they built a kind of program to seal it up.
JFK was never assassinated.
Yep, JFK avoided assassination, and they built a giant space station around it and tried to do experiments on the extraterrestrials, which are the little blobby dudes. They got out and they shut everything down, and now it's 2030. It was in 1998, I guess. And in 2030, this big corporation has bought the station, revamped it, made a bunch of progress on doing experimentation research on these alien life forms. Enter your character, and I'm sure that nothing will go wrong on that space station.
Never.
It'll be fine, man.
Yeah, it's going to be perfectly fine.
It's not like the aliens are going to break out of containment and cause a lot of problems or anything.
It never happens.
But this is nice. I like this. This is a nice little, like, just showing me the same Prey thing over and over again of,
it's giving us a little bit more. It's giving us context. It's telling us enough about the game without actually telling us what the game is about.
Yeah.
If that makes sense.
Yeah, it's just background for the game. So, and it's cool. Like, it's also in a real kind of weird animated style.
Yeah, I like it.
I didn't expect this at all. Yeah. But it seems pretty nifty. Let's see. I'm going to skip that. So apparently, it looks like, by the time this comes out, this may either be resolved or it might have not happened, or who can say. But we've talked before in the past about voice actors and their negotiations with as Screen Actors Guild members, their negotiations with the companies that employ them. And how, what was it? The last time it was like what Joss Whedon was out there. No, not Joss Whedon. Will Wheaton. Yeah, out there talking about how it kind of sucks for voice actors. Like they don't get a lot of a lot of respect, in the industry, and it looks like they might be going on strike. So as of the 21st, which is the day after we record this, if there hasn't been any forward momentum, looks like they're going to strike. Apparently, this is according to a Game Informer article. So the union says, based on past experience, that's according to SAG, their sticking points include royalties, stressful vocal sessions, and more transparency about jobs. Which I'm like, oh, that sounds reasonable, right? This is from this article. For their part, the publishers want to fine actors for tardiness or inattentiveness, fine agents who don't send clients out to all requested auditions, and the ability to hire non-union voice actors and more. It's like, so you just want to do whatever the fuck you want to?
Pretty much. They just want to continue doing what they're currently doing.
Yeah. So, yeah, we might end up... Oh, man, this is just... It's heartbreaking because there's a very good possibility that this is going to push some 2017 games into 2018.
I mean, it is possible, and it also sucks because here's the thing. There are a lot of companies that don't use SAG actors, voice actors. They specifically only use non-Screen Actor Guild people.
Okay.
So, I mean, there's going to be some companies that this isn't going to affect at all.
Okay. It looks like out of the folks that they're boycotting, Activision and EA are both on that list. Take-Two is on that list. WB Games and Insomniac, of all people, which is a little weird. Disney character voices, and then a few that just seem like shell companies. But I wonder if Take-Two, that would trickle down to Rockstar, if that would fuck up Red Dead 2 development.
No, I don't think it would.
Probably not. Okay. So a lot of times, John, I don't report on NPD numbers unless there's something interesting going on.
Yes.
It turns out, though, that by kind of ignoring those, there was a time where it seemed like every month there was at least one story about how the PlayStation 4 was outselling the Xbox One. But I found this story, and I went back and looked at this stuff, and it turns out that in America, the Xbox One has been outselling the PS4 for the last 3 months now.
Yeah.
September being the third month in a row where the Xbox One has been outselling the PS4. I don't know if that's because of the Slim announcement or...
I think it's the Slim.
But I just want to take the opportunity to be like, great, I'm glad. I hope, again, that those two have to have a fucking parking lot knife fight for every dollar that they get out of me, because the last thing I want is for either Sony or Microsoft to be super king of the hill and be able to abuse that position. But yeah, so good on you, Xbox, Microsoft. Just, keep on and try not to fuck it up. Try not to fuck it up. I really don't want them to fuck it up. Last but not least, let's see. We've got a few different delays and announcements. Watch Dogs 2 is getting pushed back 2 weeks.
On the PC.
From November 15th to November 29th. I have a feeling, looking at the number of things that are being, quotey fingers, worked on because of this pushback, this is almost directly a response to the reception of Mafia 3 on the PC version.
Yeah. I wouldn't be surprised.
They're adding, like, when you look at the general features, 4K support, stuttering/lag frame rate optimization, no FPS cap, full SLI crossfire support, FOV sliders, pixel density sliders, sharpness sliders, ultra texture pack available at launch. It sounds like they wanted to do the thing that a lot of companies do, which is release a PC version that's kind of fucked up and then patch it over a month to get it to where it probably should have been at launch. But they probably looked at what happened with Mafia 3 and decided they didn't want to go through that. So they pushed it back. It looks like they're adding a bunch of stuff. It is really interesting, though, that the first thing on that list is the frame rate cap.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
it's a hot topic, and they,
It totally is. Speaking of games that are getting pushed back, Friday the 13th is getting pushed back from 2016 to 2017.
But this is a good reason.
Yeah, well, not totally, because the game is getting... The multiplayer portion is coming out in early 2017, and then at an unspecified point after that, they're adding an additional single-player mode into the game. From what I can read, it sounds like it's just an AI bot type of thing with maybe some trapping, some surroundings around it.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. I mean, at this point, I think that my compass needle swings on this stuff all the time, but at this point I'm kind of like, take all the time that you need to, game industry, because I've already got 6 games that I'm playing right now. Yeah, I'd rather you put stuff out. I'd rather it be pushed back to summertime when there's nothing else out than, be released all fucked up. Bad news, unfortunately. United Front Games is shutting down.
Yep. Kind of the writing was on the wall for that one, though.
Yeah. For those of you who aren't familiar, United Front Games is the developer of Sleeping Dogs and Mod Nation Racers. And what was the one that we played briefly that they shut down?
I don't remember what it was. The Triad Wars.
Yeah,
or
something like that. That's a real shame.
Yeah. I actually, as soon as that Triad game got shut down, that was just Sleeping Dogs, but a weird asynchronous multiplayer version of Sleeping Dogs.
Yeah.
As soon as it failed and got closed down, I was like, oh, that company's not long.
I wonder why they never made Sleeping Dogs 2. I mean, I wonder if they just couldn't get the resources.
I think they were hoping that the Triad Wars game was going to do well enough to get them an influx of cash so that they could...
Man, that seems real hopeful. From what we played, that doesn't seem like the sort of game that takes off and becomes a big thing. Yeah. But... yeah, pour one out. Apparently, they were put together in 2007, and Sleeping Dogs is a fucking hell of a game.
Yes, it is.
It's a great game. It's got a lot of cool DLC. You could punch people in the face. You could do a kick, and you could drive on the wrong side of the street. So, last but certainly not least, this is I always like to save something a little special for last, John. I'm going to file this one under I don't know what the fuck they were thinking. Apparently, CBS is turning Candy Crush into a game show.
Okay.
I don't really know that much more than that. I don't know if it's just going to be a bunch of people on stage playing Candy Crush. That seems like a real stupid idea for a game show to me. I remember when game shows used to mean something, like spinning a wheel or figuring out what that word was or knowing stupid
or trying
shit.
to guess how much something is worth.
That's right. $1. Always say $1.
Or taking a deal or no deal.
Correct. Well, no, I don't deal or no deal. That's too new for me. You can switch it on back.
Trying to make sure they don't get any whammies.
The feud, you got to kiss Richard Dawson and say what people have in their bathroom medicine cabinet, Man, I could go for some Family Feud. So, yeah, I don't know what the fuck they're thinking. Is Candy Crush still a thing? Are people still fucking playing that game?
I would assume so.
I've never played it in my life. It looks stupid. It looks like Bejeweled, except that you have to pay money to keep playing it or whatever.
I don't know.
I've got plenty of games that I have to keep playing that don't involve Bejeweled. Maybe when this Nintendo Switch. There we go.
You're already forgetting the name, Jeff.
They should have called it the NX. I would have remembered the NX. It's been a year and a half of me saying Nintendo NX. I just learned that other name today. Maybe if they people start buying those, then they can play some for realsies video games and stop fucking playing Candy Crush and put King out of business. And sorry if any of our listeners work at King, but I hate your company. I think your game's bullshit. I kind of want you to go out of business. So on that happy note, that real upbeat happy note.
Good job.
Let's take ourselves a break. We're going to come back in just a minute, and when we do, we are going to read the emails. So stay tuned for that. And we're back. And yes, it is time for the questions. Actually, John, we don't have that many questions this week. I'll put out a call, but we just don't have as many questions as usual. I think we might have come to the point in human history where we've finally answered all the questions.
Or were most of the questions just stuff we already talked about?
It's very possible, yes. Well, those things could happen as well. Mail@RageSelect.com is the email address. So if you have a question and you want it on the show, throw it in. But I guess before we get to that, let's do a little talking about some video games that are out right now.
Okay.
So I finished Mafia 3 last week.
I'm still playing it.
And I am going to say that I kind of stand by everything that I said last week. I feel like it's a decent game. There was a bunch of stuff that was left over for me to do, but it felt like it was all kind of
busy work.
Yeah, and I've got too many other games to play. But I did get a chance to play through about half of Gears of War 4, along with the Horde mode that we played this weekend. So I could talk a little bit about Gears of War 4.
Yeah.
Gears of War 4 is pretty good.
I don't doubt it.
It's pretty fucking good, man. For those of you who don't know, this is the This is actually the 5th entry in the Gears of War franchise.
Yes. There was one that was a prequel.
Yes.
That was about 2 characters that were not Marcus Phoenix or Dom.
Yep. It wasn't a terrible game.
No.
Gears of War Judgment wasn't terrible. It was kind of...
But it was a different team. It was People Who Can Fly.
Yeah, it was the Bulletstorm team.
Yeah.
They bought them and then made them make that instead of Bulletstorm 2. Thanks a lot! But this is the first game from the Coalition. It's actually interesting to see so many of the Xbox franchises get taken over by new developers.
Yeah.
Like Halo is, 343 or whatever now.
Yeah, well, it's 343.
Okay.
Yeah.
And this is now the Coalition's first Gears game.
The Coalition is essentially the original team that made Gears.
Oh, okay.
They were just that team left Epic and was purchased by...
Okay, fair enough. This game takes place many years after the end of Gears of War 3, after the E-Day and all of the shenanigans. You got the Locust, you got the Lambent, you got all this different stuff coming up. And I actually really like the way that the game is, because you're playing as J.D. Phoenix, Marcus Phoenix's kid, and along with his crew of miscreants. I haven't gotten super far in, so I can't say for certain exactly what's going on. There's still some question marks for me as far as what's going on. But I like the way that the game starts very much with the Locust threat was vanquished. This is years later. And JD and company are part of this group called the Outsiders that basically want to live outside of the whole COG oppressive government structure that has come up after the war. And so, they kind of live in this rural life, and it starts with them very much, you can see in the dojo, raiding this this kind of automated COG city that's being built. And, of course, they trip a thing, and then there's robots aplenty, and you got to shoot all the robots. And then the supreme kind of commander of the place comes in and is like, where the fuck are my people? And they're like, I don't know what you're talking about. And she's like, robots, murder them. It's one of those games that occurs to me, John, if the main characters and the primary antagonist could have like a 12-minute conversation, they might be able to put all their things aside. But the problem is that this Jin lady, who's the leader of the kind of COG civilization, she keeps showing up in these robots. You might have seen some of them in the game where it's like a robot. It's got a screen for a head that has her face on it. And every time she does this, they have about half a conversation, and then somebody blows up that robot. It happens not once, not twice, but 3 times where she shows up to basically
probably
be like,
a few more times.
Maybe even more before the game is over. My favorite one has to be the 3rd time when she's basically in the middle of talking, and Marcus Phoenix literally just pulls a Lancer out of nowhere. And like he's sitting in a chair drinking like whiskey out of like a tin can or something. This robot walks up and starts giving him shit. And then all of a sudden, he just kind of, his hands go out of frame, and they come up with a Lancer that's just ready to go. He just turns on that chainsaw.
Marcus knew.
Bam!
He keeps that Lancer nearby at all times.
Yep. Needless to say, I mean, if you watch any of the trailers, you're going to know that you're not going to spend the entire time fighting robots. There's some new baddies that do different things. I'm really having to rack my brain about my remembering Gears of War 3. But there's kind of a new set of bad dudes in this game. But then there's also plenty of robots to shoot as well. And I kind of like the fact that they've changed it to not just be like, oh, look, it's Gears of War, and now you're going to chainsaw a bunch of new mutants that are underground. Yeah. Because they kind of went from the Locust to the Lambent, and then the Lambent and Locust in the 3rd one. And it's nice to at least start the game with a bunch of robots that act different. There's a bunch of them that act in different ways. It's still very much the same kind of move between cover and stay in cover.
Well, from what I played on the live stream, when I got to play one of the chapters, I mean, it plays like Gears of War. It plays solid. Yeah, I like it.
The main difference, the main new thing is that if you go up to cover and there's somebody on the other side of the cover, you can actually reach across the cover to grab them, pull them. It stuns them, and you can do a one-hit kill move on them. Yeah. It's actually kind of hard to pull off, though, because you have to get close enough to the other person's cover to do it. And when you do that, you're usually kind of getting into the middle of a bunch of shit. Yeah. They've added probably about a dozen new different types of guns. They come from the robots mostly. You've got these quad shotguns and these submachine guns and kind of charge up sniper rifles that act a little bit different than the long shot or the Lancer. And then later on, we're starting to see other stuff. There's the what's the saw blade gun that you showed in one of the trailers, and then there's the drop shot that kind of goes across and then hits downwards. The thing that I think has been the most striking about it, though, has just been it's real pretty. It's just real solid, real well put together. I haven't had any problems with bugginess. I haven't had any crashes. Everything looks real crisp. There's no seams in anything. There's nobody's, it's just a real solidly put together little video game. And I've been enjoying the hell out of it.
Yeah.
It doesn't seem like it's super long. There's only 6 acts with 3. Like where we were was probably about a third of the way through the game.
Yeah.
And I moved forward a little bit from there. They do this thing. I think they did this a little bit in 3 where they do from time to time kind of add in a little mini horde mode.
Yeah.
Where essentially you're going to go through a few waves of enemies in the single player and you have to set up static defenses and try to defend your little,
Yeah, because they want to teach you how to use the mechanics of the multiplayer.
Right. I haven't played the adversarial multiplayer outside of when we played the beta. Because it's just not really my thing.
I also heard that it was a bit broken at launch.
Oh, is it?
That there was some issues with it. Apparently, they've released a patch for it already, but
we played 30 rounds of horde mode on Sunday streaming.
Yeah,
seems like horde mode. It's kind of weird that they have a mix of both the robot enemies and the monster enemies from the game.
Yeah,
considering that they don't really they're not on the same side or anything.
Or are they?
Or I don't know. Maybe they are.
Dun, dun.
Maybe they are. I do really like, and I didn't expect this at all. I do really like JD Phoenix. He's a lot more. He's kind of snarky, and there's definitely a point in the game where you're adventuring where your party includes Marcus Phoenix, and the two of them have some kind of problem. I haven't gotten to that part yet, but JD does not let Marcus Phoenix just be all like, rah, 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 rah. Like, he calls him out on his shit, and I like that. I'm like, yeah, you take that Marcus Phoenix down a peg. He's just like, damn it.
I just like crotchety Marcus Phoenix.
Oh, old man Phoenix is great. I love that guy.
Stop shooting up my house. My goddamn tomatoes.
No, I love the part that we saw on the Sunday stream where there's the wind flare coming in, and they're in this barrel warehouse or something, and Marcus Phoenix is like, no, it'll hold, and meanwhile the whole place is coming apart, and then it finally all breaks up, and he just turns to it, and he's just like, just don't say anything, just don't say anything. There are been some really nice set pieces. We saw one of them when we were playing, riding on a motorcycle.
Yeah,
been a few other that have been really nice. Yeah, so far I'm really, really liking it. It's super easy to play. It's super easy to pick up. I haven't played the co-op. I mean, we played a co-op on the show, but I haven't just been playing single player by myself. But yeah, it seems like if you're into Gears of War and you're not looking to have them reinvent the wheel, this seems like a pretty fully featured Gears of War.
Yeah.
It does do that thing in multiplayer where they want you to buy packs that open up that have.
I think that's a Microsoft thing. I think that's Microsoft mandated because every multiplayer game that is a Microsoft owned game has it.
Yeah. It's just so irritating because it's like, bitch, I paid $60 for this. Give me all the skins for multiplayer. Don't make me continue to have to buy stuff again. I know it's a trend in gaming, so it's like, I'm not gonna stop that happening by bitching about it on my tiny podcast, but it is irritating. Well, before we jump into the questions, I was going to actually ask, do you have any thoughts on Mafia 3 that you might want to go over?
No, I mean, I don't have any issues really with Mafia 3, though I was surprised that I did run into a couple of the same glitches that you had on Mafia 3.
Uh-huh.
Specifically that one section where when you talk to the drunk guy and it just seems like the video just seems really washed out.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's just that sequence.
Yeah.
Because
I'm playing on
Xbox. Yeah.
Okay.
So it's like it did the exact same thing.
Huh.
So I think it's just that sequence is messed up.
It has problems. I mean, it has some graphical issues that.
But I mean, overall, I like it. It's a good game. Is it it's a game that you should play at some point, but it's not detrimental to play it as soon as possible.
I wouldn't skip Gears of War 4 or Titanfall 2 or whatever to play it right now. I mean, maybe wait for it to go on sale.
It's definitely one of those games like Mafia 2 that I would recommend, yes, you should play it at some point.
Yeah.
Do you have to play it right now? No. If you want to wait till it goes on sale on a Steam sale or something, do that. If you want to wait till it gets cheaper at the store for Xbox or PlayStation, do that.
Yeah.
But wait till it eventually someday, couple years down the line, is one of the free games that Microsoft or Sony gives out with their subscription. That's cool too. It's worth playing. It's just not going to blow you away. It's not doing anything new or interesting that is going to be a game changer for you, but it is a good game.
Yeah, okay.
Like that's my opinion of it. It is a good game that is fun to play.
Okay, fair enough.
And then the only other game I'm really playing is WWE 2K17.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've been diving headfirst in that. I don't know if I talked about it too much last week.
Do you want to talk about it?
Yeah.
Like I said, we have fewer questions than normal this week. So.
Yeah, I mean, with that, compared to the last one, there's one big feature missing from this year, which is the showcase mode, which is ever since 2K took over the franchise.
The Showcase Showdown isn't in there anymore?
The showcase mode is no longer in there.
Oh, man.
Like in the first one, it was like a showcase mode where you played as where you got to like choose like different showcases, like the feud between CM Punk and John Cena, which ended in it being Cena and The Rock, which was really annoying. Where like that game had like multiple like storylines, you could relive past experience, past storylines.
all the old footage and stuff. I remember that.
And then the second one was just Stone Cold. It was like just Stone Cold.
Okay.
And then this one doesn't have that. They just did away with it. But they did away with it so that they could focus on because there was a lot of stuff that people were like, you're missing this, you're missing this, you're missing this. Showcase is great, that's fine, but you need to fix all these other problems, and you need to bring back all these features that you dropped when you went to next gen. And they went, okay, well, since people have been complaining about those missing features and the problems that we've been ignoring, we have to, so that we can focus on those things, we have to drop something else.
Yeah.
They're like, all right, well, let's not do a showcase mode this year. Let's focus on fixing the game and releasing something that is what people want. So there's no showcase mode this year.
Okay.
The My Career mode, that they have, where you create your own character and then you start, in the Performance Center, which is their training center, and work your way up through the ranks of the main roster. I think that it is the best version of it that has been implemented since they implemented the My Career mode.
Okay.
They even have it doesn't seem to do it very often, but whenever the storyline that you're playing it asks for it, like there are moments where you have to give your own promos and you have to kind of Mass Effect choose like what you're going to say. And
sure.
There's the respectful babyface thing, the funny babyface thing, the funny heel thing to say, or the very mean-spirited fuck you heel thing to say. And you kind of have to figure out which one is which and kind of string them together so that what you're saying kind of makes sense as well and reacts to the crowd in a specific way.
What if you don't? What if you just act like a crazy person?
You basically lose fans.
Oh, okay.
People just don't like you. Like, not as a bad guy or a good guy, they just don't like you.
Oh, dude, I'd watch that wrestler. Just crazy. Every other line is just completely reverse of the line before.
Yeah. So it's like, and some crowds will react differently. Like, you'll go to an arena and they'll be like, this arena is in a town that does not like they're very PG. This crowd is very PG focused.
Okay.
So if you go out there and start being like, fuck yeah, I'm the greatest thing on earth, they're not gonna like that.
No.
So you gotta go there. It's like, heck yeah, are you guys ready for a good time tonight? All right, let's do this. Woo! That's gonna get a better reaction out of that crowd. And then you'll go to other crowds that may have a different type of that they may like the fuck yeah, let's go fucking beat the shit out of this guy and rip his face up open and cause him to bleed everywhere.
Okay.
Yeah, downtown Detroit. Good. Yeah. Like that stuff would be appropriate to say there. Mind you, there's no curse words in the game. I'm just trying to give an example. So you kind of have to, that's a thing to look at when you're doing promos and stuff like that. It's actually really well done. I mean, there's some stuff that needs some work on it. Like last year, the My Career mode had voiceover for all the characters. Now the only voiceover is in select cutscenes in which only Paul Heyman who's a real manager, talks.
Okay.
Those have his voice. Everything else is just text dialogue on a screen and people's mouths moving with no actual
JRPG
voice.
style.
Yeah, JRPG style.
Nice.
Which a lot of people don't seem to like. I don't mind it.
It's always jarring to me, and this happens so much in JRPGs when you have a game that switches between them, right?
Yeah.
Like if it's all text, okay. If it's all dialogue, great. If it's like dialogue for a little while, then suddenly I got a character portrait down to the bottom. I'm like, pick one.
But yeah, the Paul Heyman things where he actually is voiced happens very rare. It's like not like a major thing.
Okay.
And then like you're also given like, oh, the authority wants you to do these do these things in the match, and if you do them, which usually they're sometimes heel tactics, and if you do them, then the authority likes you and you'll be in good with them.
Yeah.
If you don't do it, like you can completely just ignore it, which is what I did, and you don't do anything. And if I do happen to do something that they asked me to do, then that's great. But if I don't do it naturally through the match, then fuck it. Then you're on their bad side, and then like eventually when they come into the storyline, they hate you. And then the biggest thing they have now is the universe mode. Universe mode is essentially your simulator mode, where you're the general manager of the WWE, and you decide what shows are air on TV, where you can create your own shows, you can create your own arenas, you can create
like fantasy football version.
Kind of, yeah.
Okay. Huh.
Like you decide what matches happen on the cards. You decide what feuds are happening.
Yeah.
You decide who hates who and who likes who. You decide who appears on what shows.
Dude, that's fantastic. It means every wrestling fan who's dissatisfied with the way the wrestling is going can like backseat drive their own version.
Yes, yeah.
Of the WWE.
And what's even great about it is like previously you had one shot at doing this. Like you do it, and whatever you're setting up is doing it. That's the thing you're doing.
Sure.
Now they've basically went, okay, you have 3 save slots for doing this. So
nice.
you can do your one that's I've designed it to set it up to look like exactly like WWE TV right now, and then I'm gonna future book the shit out of this to be the WWE I want it to be. And then you can go to the second one and go, all right, I've created a bunch of fake characters,
right?
And I'm gonna create my own wrestling show that has its own name. It's not gonna be WWE. It's not gonna be WWE. It's gonna be called Rage Select Wrestling, and it's gonna have the Rage Select logo on everything. And
RSW, man.
And all the wrestlers are Rage Select cast members, and they're all fighting each other every week. And
that's a real flabby, slappy
it is
as it currently states. I think Aaron kicks all our asses and wins, right?
I always thought it was Allison Murphy that's the winner because the knife to the back.
Sure. She use a chair, man.
Yeah.
She'll use that folding chair.
Yeah, she's the current champion. But no.
It turns out it's Kayla. That's a weird one. I didn't see that one coming.
Yeah.
Kayla's just standing on a big mound of Rage Select bodies, just like tee.
Yeah, it turns out it's Kayla. But no, you can, and then like you can also, and you can just have fun with it. You can be weird with it. You can create your own, like I said, you can create your own shows. The Creation Suite, I think, is the best one yet. Part of my biggest problem with the previous versions is that the load times were atrocious.
Okay.
There is some bad loading here in this game, but it's less like in the Creation Suite. It's like, oh, I want to choose what hair my guy has. I'll move over to this hair option that's next to the one that I already have.
Yeah.
Wait 2 minutes for it to load.
I remember when we played that. Yeah.
That's gone.
Oh,
like
good.
it loads instantly.
Oh, okay.
But it's just like when you're going like into the Creation Suite, like there is a like 5 minute, or not 5 minute, but like 3-4 minute loading to get to that menu, and then everything loads pretty fast. They did some weird thing now where you have to play the game to earn the victory credits.
Okay.
And victory credits were previously a thing that were only in the My Career mode, and when you win a match, you'd get these credits that you could use to buy moves and buy stuff for your My Career character to use to become better, so that you're not creating like this super awesome badass character and then playing the My Career mode. It's so that you actually had to build a guy who was starting from scratch and would learn over time. Well, now the entire game is locked by these victory credits. Like there's just a ton of creation options, a bunch of characters that are all just locked behind these victory credits.
That sucks.
Luckily, if you get the season pass, you get to unlock it automatically. And
Boo.
But that's one of the benefits of the season pass.
Boo. Season pass. Boo.
I bought the season pass not because I wanted that, but because I wanted the characters that are the actual character packs that are coming later, because I want all the wrestlers and stuff like that.
No, I understand. And just general
I see that as a added bonus. Like, that is like, if it wasn't part of the season pass, I wouldn't care. But as an added bonus to the fact that I bought the season pass, sure, I paid you more money, you're giving me more characters, and you're just going to let me automatically unlock everything. Cool. I'm happy with that. I don't fucking care. But yeah, the creation mode's great. I still don't know how to do the thing with the face, where like you take a picture of your face and then like you import it into the game. Like, I have no idea how to do that.
We tried that with NBA 2K17 and it just didn't work either. I find it upsetting that we've been doing this for like 5 years and it still isn't great. It seems like every single time there's a new problem with it.
Yeah, but so I mean, it's one of those things where it's like, I don't know. It shows that when people use it for like the created wrestlers, when you go like look at the community creations and you see someone who's like, oh, someone made this wrestler who's not in this game. Wow, that face looks super hyper realistic. Oh, it's because they just found a face front picture of this guy, and then imported it into this and then used it to create his face in the game. Because you can always tell when someone used it and when someone didn't.
Okay.
But yeah, no, I really like it. I actually think this is the best version of the game so far. Like, it's still got a ton of problems.
Okay.
And
is it worth it? Is it worth $60?
I think? I thought it was. Yeah.
If you're a fan?
I think it is. I mean, I'm a huge fan of the simulation aspect. I also like the My Career mode. So it's playing to what I want. I could give or take the showcase mode. Some people are upset that there is going to be a showcase that's going to be a Hall of Fame showcase where it's a bunch of like Hall of Fame inducted wrestlers, old matches, and you get those characters and like you can recreate their matches in a showcase mode. That is going to be released as part of the DLC. And some people are like, oh, so now if I want to get showcase, I have to buy pay for it, instead of it being in the game, which it was previously in the game previously, kind of thing. I don't know. I don't have so much a problem with it because I still feel like if the showcase had never been there, I still feel like I'm getting a complete game.
Okay.
With a game that I can play for many hours on end and still find enjoyment.
Okay.
They improved some controls. Some things still need work, but I think it's a step in the right direction.
Okay.
There.
Well, let's throw down on some emails then.
All right.
Our first one this week comes in from Darcy. Darcy says, hi, Jeff and John. Darcy here, Australian Patreon member living in Singapore. Wow, your life is so exotic, Darcy. I've always had a lot of thoughts about things in your videos and podcasts. This is the first time I've actually had a question. Lately, I find myself getting annoyed with boss difficulty or general progression difficulty being addressed by making enemies bullet sponges, or just waves and waves of numerous enemies, which is essentially the same thing. With the increasing capabilities of technology, I would hope that we could progress beyond this simplistic methodology. What do you think about this method of addressing difficulty, and are there any games that you can think of that are good examples of addressing difficulty without using the bullet sponge method? My work involves me traveling all over Asia, and I find podcasts in particular just the right thing for listening to on flights between countries. Keep up the amazing work, Darcy. And then Darcy actually says, P.S. For all Americans complaining about $60 games, in Australia, games are $100, 75 USD to current exchange rates. Some of us would love to have games for only $60. Note this is true even for digital games on Xbox and PlayStation stores. Yikes.
Yeah, I actually knew about that. That's actually been kind of a thing going around for the last couple of months in the news, is that apparently in other countries they don't adjust for the change in exchange rates.
Yep.
So like sometimes they just apparently at some point set a thing and then left it there, and then even though the exchange, like even though they're now paying more money, it's not 1-to-1 anymore.
Well, I'd actually heard that in Australia, right, they also had a very conservative leader that was elected that wanted to basically wanted to add an additional surcharge onto games to try to disincentivize people from actually spending money on them because they considered them to be like a poor influence on their culture. Anyway, as far as bosses, wave bosses / bullet sponge bosses, it's a good question. I mean, for regular modern video games, I'm trying to think of good examples of bosses that didn't, because that was one of the things that really bothered me with The Division, right? Was as you got to higher levels, you would get these enemies where it was just like, I'm just sitting there pouring all these bullets into this enemy, and it's still just a person, right?
Yeah.
For Dark Souls, it makes sense. You come to a boss arena, there's a giant boss. It's a whole different thing. They have a different move set. They're crafted. The game is actually built around those bosses, so it makes more sense. But I feel like a lot of times they do like kind of like a quick time event battle.
Yeah.
Uncharted 4, I think, did that at the very end, where it's kind of like a sword fight, but it was also really kind of anticlimactic because it was just kind of a quick time event versus type of thing. I think the first Uncharted did a better job of that, because if I remember correctly, the end boss was like he was running away from you, and then you would come into an area where a bunch of guys would show up, and you'd have to shoot your way through those guys to get to the next area, and then he would kind of retreat back again, and then when you got up to him, there was a thing. But it's a hard thing to do. I mean, you don't want a boss in a bullet-focused, like, modern-type game. You don't want to just shoot a boss a bunch of times. You have to shoot them, 80 times to kill them. But I don't know what a good way around that is, because the quick-time event stuff always feels really unsatisfying. Maybe like the Deadshot fight in Arkham Origins, where it was like kind of tied to the way that Batman did hand-to-hand. I don't know if there's a way to solve this problem for bullet games.
Yeah.
Even in Gears of War, that's one of the things that irritates me a little bit, is the fact that sometimes when you're fighting, you get a real nice beat on one of the enemies, and you just start shooting him, and it takes like 25 headshots to finally get him down. I don't know. You have any thoughts on what could be done with this, or does it even bother you?
I mean, it does and it doesn't. Like, there are times where I'm just like, just making it harder does not, like, just making them take more damage does not solve the problem. It makes it more frustrating, actually. I tend to like where, some games will do a thing where it's like, oh, well, this boss is harder because if you shoot him just anywhere, it's gonna take more to damage him. But if you figure out where his weak point is, he can take less damage.
Right.
Like, I think that's like when they do stuff, almost take the classic, like Zelda, find the weak point of the enemy to defeat it.
Sure.
But apply it to a shooter is great.
Yeah.
But
it gets so difficult too, because it's so. I'm just trying to think of like. I'm actually trying to think of shooting style games that actually had a real fulfilling ending, right? I was thinking back to BioShock, and how when you get to Fontaine at the end of BioShock, like, all I did was pull out the goop gun, set it to electricity, just hold down the button, and he was dead. Like, it takes all 5 minutes. I think the one that came to mind was Modern Warfare, because it was such a spectacle. You gotta have this like truck chase and whatever, and then it goes in this weird slow motion where you get the gun, and then you have to shoot him with the gun. And they've done that in a couple of the Modern Warfare games, where like it kind of comes down to like a duel at the very end, where you just get one shot to do it. But even that's not great. I mean, you have sometimes where you have like a boss arena where you have to, oh man, I need to blow up these 3 pillars. You blow up this pillar, and it'll take his energy shield down, and then you can hurt him briefly, and then his energy shield goes back up again. And that always just feels too gamey for me. Like, it doesn't ever fit into the mold of those sorts of games very well. I don't know. Let's say Mass Effect, like the end of Mass Effect 1, where you're fighting what's his face. That was kind of. You have Mass Effect 2. The ending of that was was the giant Terminator Reaper that they made, and that was kind of you just sit behind cover and shoot its weak points until it finally dies, and it's like I think the problem is that most games don't have mechanics that are flexible enough to change. So when you think of Modern Warfare, it's a first person shooter. You hit you aim, you fire, you throw some grenades, you move around. There's some limits as to how flexible that style of combat is, to be able to do something interesting or unique with a boss, especially if it's supposed to be realistic, that isn't totally outside of that. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know how you fix that. Just make every game Dark Souls. There you go. Fixed, right?
No, Jeff.
No?
No.
I say use big quotey finger since we've been talking about it today. The boss fight at the very, very, very end of Red Dead Redemption was incredibly satisfying, but only because they did so much setup on it. I actually think that what it comes down to is that you can have a boss that goes down in a small number of hits, and you put a bunch of fodder between you and that boss.
Yeah.
As long as you have a good emotional hook for that boss. Like, I'm just thinking of Red Dead, to the way that ended in Red Dead Redemption after Marsden's ending. Even though everybody hates Jack Marsden, I did kind of think that was interesting, kind of coming back to him and having to go on like this one last mission, right, to track that person down. GTA 4 worked out really well. I always say that I feel like GTA 4 doesn't get enough credit for asking you who your favorite character in GTA 4 is and then killing them off to basically make the boss experience that much more interesting.
Yeah.
GTA 5, kind of the same way. They had a kind of a ending, right? After all the stuff, it kind of just turns into it's like a big mob fight, right? And you had all this bank robbing and stuff, and then at the end, it's like everybody just kind of gets in a car, you drive to where the mobsters are, and you just shoot them all up, and boom, the game is over.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I don't know if there is a good way to fix that. I don't know. Folks in the comments, let us know. What do you think? Next up, Daniel writes in and says, "Hello, Jeff and John. What are some things that you can't do or only learned late in life that most people would consider simple and easy to do? This can range from whistling to changing a flat tire. For example, I didn't learn how to snap my fingers until I was 17, and I still can't ride a bike without hurting myself. Thanks and take care, Daniel." I can't ride a bike anymore.
Yeah.
Last time I tried, I just kept falling over. So ever since then, I've been like, whenever anybody says, "Oh, it's just like riding a bike," I'm like, "No, it's not true. It's not true." Because I forgot how to ride a fucking bike. I can't ride one anymore. It was like super thin street bike, though. So I don't know, maybe a BMX. I need to go get myself a off-road bike with big fat tires. Things that you didn't learn to do until later in life. What do you think? Anything? I never knew how to host a podcast until about 3 years ago. So I was completely,
Yeah, but no one expects to know how to do that from a young age, Jeff.
Everybody else can host a podcast, and I'm just like, oh man, I don't even know how to host a podcast. Let's see. I don't know how to cook. Let's see. Things that you didn't learn to do until later in life. Anything come to mind for you? You got kind of racking my brain. When I was a kid, my dad made me learn how to change a tire and change the oil in my car and fix a toilet. He was very insistent upon teaching me how to do those things when I was young.
I don't know how to change oil, but I know all about changing tires and things like that.
Just as a quick tip to all of our audience, it is so worth your time to just one day take the top off of your toilet and look in there and learn what all those things do. It's going to take you about 25 minutes to learn how the entire process works from start to finish. And trust me, this is the one skill that you would like to have when there's some kind of problem happening with your toilet. You want to be able to at least stop it from doing what it's doing, you know.
Agreed.
Yeah. Anyway, things I didn't learn how to do until later in life. I still don't know how to date. Does that count? Still pretty much totally in the dark about that.
Yeah, I can't help you there.
Making food, I don't know how to do that. I'm bad at that. I can make toast and rice. That's it's pretty much my.
I can make mac and cheese.
Full repertoire. I don't know. Dance? I never learned how to dance. I'm just now listing things that I don't know how to do, not things that I've learned how to do later in life. I guess I learned how to animate later in my life and draw better than I could before. But that's not a thing that everybody knows how to do. I had a hard time with this one.
Yeah, I'm having a hard time with it as well.
Real hard time. Sorry, Daniel. I don't know if we have anything. Most people consider simple and easy to do. I can whistle. I can snap. I can put in my contact lenses. Shave my head. These are all things that are simple to do.
I can sort of snap, not well.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Do you put all 3 fingers, or do you just do 2 fingers?
Just
2 fingers?
Yeah.
All right. This next one comes in from there is no name, so I'm going to call you Rico. Rico says, "Hail, Jeff and John. Praise be to the Dong Lord and his musty glory." Oh, the Punisher. Sorry, Rico. This is the Punisher, not Rico. The Punisher here with a quick question. Do you think there is too much choice in video games? I've noticed that when I play some open world games, I get paralyzed by deciding what to do next and decide to just take a break. Thanks for reading my email. Praise the sun and the dong, the Punisher.
No.
I do. I think the current generation has been abused. I think that the current hardware generation of consoles has made developers lazy in just making too many of the same things over and over instead of making new things. For example, as much as I like Mafia 3, you could take out half of the just go to this place, shoot this thing up, and you're done. Missions from Mafia 3. Assassin's Creed is another one where it's just, you've got 4 types of missions and you've just added 3 times as many of those 4 types of missions rather than using the newfound power that you have to come up with something that is actually worthwhile. It's one of the things I love about GTA 5, and it's one of the things I definitely love about Saints Row 4, is that Saints Row 4 could definitely just be a bunch of stuff, but man, I remember so many of the missions in Saints Row 4 because they're all unique and fun and stupid and totally worth playing. So I don't know. I also get to a point where there's a certain point in just about every open world game where I finally abandon my desire to do everything and just decide, fuck it, I'm gonna run the story and then we're gonna be done and then I'm gonna put it away and I'm not gonna go back and touch it ever again. But it is a nice way to pad out your game.
Yeah.
If you want to just put in more missions instead of actually trying to figure out something specific to do. What's up?
Oh, no, I was telling your dog sorry. I accidentally kicked him.
Oh, he's fine. He's all right.
No, he gave me a slow look of, what the fuck are you doing?
Let's see. This next one comes in from Vanish Knight, who says, "Hello, Jeff and John. Love listening to your podcast, and I've been contributing to your Patreon since I've been able to get a paycheck after college." Well, thank you very much.
Thank you.
My question, in a hypothetical world, which game company or game studio would make a video game theme park first or make the best video game theme park? Sincerely, Vanish Knight. Who would make what publisher would make the best video game theme park, or what game company? I think there are like 3 of them, right?
I don't think that they'd make the best, but I do think the first that would be like, we're gonna make a video game theme park based on all of our properties, and it's gonna be the best theme park in the world, and it's gonna be all the things that you want. Fucking Activision.
Yeah,
they would be the first to jump on that shit.
What about Ubisoft? I feel like they could do that too.
Yeah,
they could do that as well.
But I feel like Activision would be the first. Like if they honestly did if the numbers came out and they're like, oh no, a theme park based entirely 100% on video game franchises. If we can make money there, Activision would be the first to jump. Like, well, we want to make money there too because we love fucking money.
Skylanders and Call of Duty.
Call of Duty laser tag.
Oh man. I actually think that
you can be soap.
If you're going with best, I think Nintendo would probably do a good job making a theme park.
Yeah. Oh no, I actually think Nintendo would probably be the best at making a theme park.
I also think that if Blizzard ever decided to do something that they do,
well, that would be the side theme park to the Activision.
Oh, to Activision. Yeah. EA's got a fair number of properties too. You got all that BioWare stuff. But we all know the real answer to who needs to make the best theme park and what the best theme park would be. From Software, obviously. I mean, you go from Kingsfield Grotto over to the Armored Core Coaster, and then, go get yourself a Blood Burger from the concession stand for $12.
An Estus flask.
Yeah. Comes with a free Estus flask that you could take
souvenir
home. Yeah.
And get refilled.
Yeah, you get it refilled the entire day. You get all the Sunny Delight that you could drink. Guys walking around dressed like Solaire in the park. You take pictures with them, and they'll praise the sun with you. Damn it, I want to go there now. Started as a joke. It's not a joke anymore. It's for real.
This is real life, motherfucker.
That's right. I'd be the only one in line for the Shadow Tower ride. I'd be like, wait, why doesn't anybody else come over here? The Dark Souls line is 6 hours long, but You just walk right into Shadow Tower. That's not even a problem. Was that the one, Shadow Tower? Yeah, Shadow Tower. Or Otogi. Shadow Tower and Otogi are right next to each other. And nobody's lining up for that. Everybody just wants to be in the on the Dark Souls, right? Oh man, what if it was like you got into a roller coaster that was like Kingseeker Framp's head, and like it opens up and you have to get into his mouth and then it closes and you just look out through his dumb nostrils. That'd be horrible.
Yes, this entire idea would be horrible.
Yeah. In the game, the Crestfallen Warrior even says that like he smells super bad, so they could like pipe in bad smell so that you get the actual experience of being inside of a giant serpent's mouth, and then they could just take you down to the bottom, and it's like you're in the abyss, be like Space Mountain, but without any of those stars, just darkness everywhere. This is a horrible idea, and I want to go there so bad. I don't know. What do you think? Or you go to the Konami theme park, right, where everything is fucked up and it's pachinko machines.
Yeah, it's all pachinko machines.
The Konami theme park, all pachinko machines.
Based on your favorite video game properties.
Yep. Video games are so last year, John. Pachinko machines.
They have a roller coaster that you ride inside of a giant pachinko machine.
That's right, yeah. And then when you come out at the end, you can go to the free pachinko machine park where it's just all pachinko machines. Steven writes in to say, hello, Beardman and John. Is the PS4 Pro competing with the Xbox Slim or Scorpio? And do you think that the trend with Xbox and PlayStation switching success between generations will continue and that the Scorpio will win out next time? Sincerely, Steven. We've talked about this on and off a little bit. I do think that the PS4 Pro, I don't necessarily see that as a new hardware, as a new console generation.
Yeah,
I know a lot of people frame it like that, but
it's not. It's new hardware.
Yeah,
it's
more of a hardware refresh.
Yeah.
Than anything else. Like if you couldn't play the same games on the two systems, I feel like that would be a new generation.
Yeah.
But as it is currently, I look at it more as a hardware refresh than anything else.
Yeah, it's the equivalent of a Sega CD to the Sega Genesis.
Or I would say like the Xbox Elite to the original Xbox 360. You know how it went from having like the integrated HDMI ports and stuff like that. But
or the Nintendo 64 disc drive that never came out here in the States.
Oh yeah. But is the PS4 Pro competing with the Slim and Scorpio? I think so. I think that one of the two of them started this development, and then whoever the other one was found out and basically decided to kind of do the same thing. I do think that it's very possible that Sony might blast themselves in the dick with not letting you play 4K discs off of the PlayStation Pro.
Yeah.
The more I think about that, the more it's just like, what the fuck are you doing? Like, why? I don't know if it's a cost thing to try to keep the disc cost down or whatever, because it obviously supports 4K and you can stream 4K if you've got the bandwidth for it. But why they wouldn't let you do that, especially as other people have pointed out, the way the PlayStation 3 actually ushered in Blu-ray by having a Blu-ray drive in it. It just seems weird that they wouldn't do that. As far as I'm switching roles, I'm going to say the same thing that I always do. I would like that to happen. I just honestly feel like the Xbox One needs more exclusive titles coming out as reasons for people to buy that console. Even middleware garbage bullshit, right? Crap like Akiba's Trip, or Oni Chambara, or, other games that aren't sexy Japanese games. They're just, I feel like Xbox One users need more console exclusives and more things that you can't really get anywhere else. Because right now the PS4 is doing a pretty good job of fulfilling that slot.
Yeah. I mean, it's actually kind of funny because my brother came to me the other day and he was like, I'm thinking about getting a new console, PS4 or Xbox One.
Sure.
I need you to help me decide. And like, I don't have like loyalty to either one.
Yeah.
Like I play my Xbox One more and I tend to play my games on my Xbox One, but that's more out of convenience. Like there have been times where I've chosen, no, I'm going to buy this game for the PS4 because, I have friends or whatever like that play this game.
Sure.
I'll probably buy Red Dead on PS4 because of
the Sony stuff.
thing.
Yeah.
Because I just don't want to deal with it. I don't want to be delayed. Also, if I do the online stuff, I want to play with my friends, and they're all on PS4. So,
sure.
But I still play most of my games on my Xbox One. And actually, I had to ask him. He's like, which do you think? I was like, do you care about 4K gaming? No. Okay. Do you care about VR? Well, I'd be interested in it, but it's not a selling point for me.
Sure.
Okay. Would you be upset if you missed out on Gears of War or Quantum Break or any of these other exclusive, Halo or Halo Wars or
what's the platinum one?
Crackdown.
Scalebound.
Or I was like,
Crackdown.
or Crackdown.
3, yeah.
And he was just like, no, I've never been a big Gears of War fan, so I can't really say I feel like I'd be missing out. Okay. Do you feel like you'd be missing out if you never played the new Uncharted game or God of War or whatever? He goes, I really love the God of War games. It's like, well, then you just made your decision for you.
Yeah. Yep.
Like literally, it was just like there, and he was like, "Thank you. I think that's the best thing anyone." He's like, "I think it's the best," because he's like, "I've talked to like 4 people, and some people are like, oh, you need PS4 because it's the best console on the market, or oh, you need Xbox One because Microsoft's fucking kick ass."
Yeah,
he's like, they just like give me bullshit answers, and you kind of just asked me questions until I just made this like. I feel like I made the. He's like, I feel like I made the decision myself, and I'm like, because you did.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because because that's literally how you should look at it. You should look at what everything does and go, do I want this? No. Do I want this? No. Do I want this? Yes. This is a big thing for me. Okay, well, this thing is only on one console, so.
Yeah. Also, it's worth noting, Scorpio isn't going to be out until, another year from now?
Yeah.
Ish, give or take. I mean, the PS4 Pro is out now, right?
No, it comes out in November.
November, okay. I don't know if it's going to be interesting to see if people go trade their PS4s in for Pros. I would like to, but I don't have any money.
Yeah,
so
I'm not.
And it's not. It doesn't seem super necessary for me right now, especially because I don't have a 4K TV. But I don't know. I mean, I was interested to see those NPD numbers as far as Xbox One selling more than the PlayStations. I wonder if that's due to the Slim, if that's really enticing people in who don't have any one of these new consoles. I was looking at it today. I kind of wish that I had an Xbox One Slim because the OG Xbox One is fucking huge, and it's also got a gigantic adapter that's, on the outside of it. I don't necessarily think that they're going to switch back. In the olden days, the PlayStation 3 did finally catch up with the Xbox 360. It just took them a little time to get on their feet.
Yeah, you're right.
So if next year by E3, Microsoft's managing to put out, they're selling the Slims real well, they're putting out games that everybody wants, and they announce a bunch of cool stuff at E3 next year, who knows? They could end up doing it.
And plus, we all know once the Nintendo Switch comes out, all bets are off. No one's going to care. Nintendo is going to own the market.
Sure.
Who cares about Sony? Who? Microsoft? What?
Yeah.
It's all
I just
Nintendo.
realized something about the Nintendo Switch that I didn't realize before.
Yeah.
Not a single flutter of any kind of motion control in that entire trailer.
Yeah. No. It didn't
Thank you, Lord.
It didn't even look like the screen was a touchscreen.
Yeah, that's another thing that's not been confirmed. Yeah. No waggling. Yeah. And it would have been so easy for them to put that shit in those little controllers and be like, you got to waggle, blah, blah, blah. Fuck your waggling. All right, 2 more quick questions. First, this comes in from Paul C. He says, hello, Jeff, and super scary co-host, John.
How am I scary?
I don't know. You're frightening. Your opinions are frightening me.
Well,
how are you all doing today? Let's see.
I'm good, thank you.
My question is, if you could be an NPC in any story, be it books or games, what role would you play, and how would you live your life there? P.S. What's your favorite sea creature? Keep rocking, Rage Like Crew. Love, Paul C. Favorite sea creature? That's the anglerfish. They're so fucking horrible, and I love them. They got this big fucking teeth and the eyes, and they got a little thing coming off their head. Great. I don't know why they aren't enemies in more games. Oh man, that'd be a great Bloodborne enemy, right? Like a big hulking, walking
anglerfish with human arms and human legs.
Oh my god! And what if if the top of its little thing, like you put it in a real dark area, kind of like the Tomb of the Giants in Dark Souls 1, except that hanging off of the top of it would be like a light that looks like the items when they're on the ground in the game, and then when you run to go pick it up, it just raw comes out at you. That'd be great. Be great. It may even be scarier than those big whale motherfuckers in Old Hunters. This is one of those questions. It's hard.
Yeah. Favorite sea creature? Probably dolphins. I don't know.
No. Yeah. Just dolphins. You don't give that too many shits about the sea.
I like sea
about jellyfish?
creatures.
What about those?
I fucking hate jellyfish, dude.
Sea spiders. Those things are cool looking.
No.
I actually kind of like sea spiders. I don't like regular spiders, but sea spiders, Those are all right.
Whales are nice. I don't know.
What about those little anemones, right? Just anyway, John doesn't care about the ocean. If you could be an NPC in any story, what role would you play, and how would you live your life there?
That's a good question.
I'd probably be the guy like debugging the software on the ship in Infinite Warfare, just in my cabin, peeing myself whenever they get attacked. Just like, oh man. I don't know. You'd be like the announcer. Oh, that's right. Smash TV, announcer on Smash TV. That's my job. That's my.
I was
going
to say I'd probably be an NPC character in like Secret of Monkey Island, and just be like, I don't know, some dude that Guybrush Threepwood would just like interacts with, and I give him a hint to something.
Yeah. And
I just live my life, hanging out as a pirate or something.
Such a casual pirate answer. Oh man, I feel like we're running out of steam, so let's get this last question done and wrap it up.
I'm just saying that's because that just fits with my MO, I guess, because casual.
Sure.
Yeah,
I'm not out there in the world raising hell every other day. So if I was an NPC in a game, I'd just be like the guy that works at the weapons store, and I'd be like, "Here, have some whatever, man." I'd be like, "What are you buying?" Our last question this week comes in from Alex, and Alex says, "Hello, Masters of Rage. Simple question: what is your go-to order from Taco Bell? I'm a chalupa girl myself, and if I'm feeling extra rich, a cheese roll-up too." Those things are $1, Alex. Keep on raging, Alex. A chalupa and a cheese roll-up, that's like $2.75. That's like the most inexpensive Taco Bell order of all time.
Until you hear my order.
Yeah.
Yeah, I get so assuming that my go-tos are like
4 cheese rolls.
No. Assuming that my normal go-tos are like no longer in like because they have the rotation or whatever. Because I fucking love those chicken flatbread sandwiches.
Okay.
When those things are there, chicken flatbread sandwiches all the fucking time. They also had those like cheesy double beef burritos for a while.
Sure.
I fucking love those too.
Okay.
But if those are gone. If those are not there, because those are seasonal kind of things, apparently, I do about 2 or 3 of their cheesy mini quesadillas or beefy quesadillas.
Okay.
So it's just basically the taco meat with the quesadilla meat or quesadilla cheese and in a small tortilla.
Okay.
So it's essentially like 3 tacos. What 3 soft tacos that's meat and cheese only. That's all I fucking want. And then I also do their
rolled
cheesy nacho loaded grillers. Yeah, I like those too.
They still have those things?
Yeah, they still have the loaded grillers. I mean, they're just like they're like tiny burritos that have cheese, the meat, and then they have little Frito chips in them.
Yeah,
I usually spend like $3 or $4 for my full meal, and I feel like I get a full meal.
Okay, I'm sorry. I was looking to see what the current thing at Taco Bell was, and I came across this story that where the headline is "Young couple mysteriously dies before eating Taco Bell takeout," and I was like, "What?" So I was skimming this story. This is in Michigan. So apparently they were dead on the floor of their apartment, and the only clues was there was a pound of marijuana and some uneaten Taco Bell there. Like, that's weird. That's the first thing that comes up when I type in Taco Bell. Anyway, my order is always some variation on the same thing. I'll list the one depending on, like you, what is there in the order that I eat it. Cheesy bean and rice burrito, delicious. Double-decker taco, delicious. Chicken burrito with regular chicken instead of the shredded chicken because I don't like the spicy chicken, and a cheesy potato burrito with no sour cream because I don't dig Taco Bell sour cream. And then if I have the app, I usually end up adding like 2 or 3 more things until I've got like $9 worth of Taco Bell. And yeah, then I eat all the Taco Bell. And that's it. We're done. Thanks everybody for listening. Thank you, John. All right, this is 3 in a row, man.
Yeah.
You set a new precedent.
Yeah.
Now it's just gonna be another 2 years to get 4 in a row.
Yeah, no, it's gonna be forever. I mean, I think the only person who's done more than 3 in a row is Murphy.
Oh yeah.
So I gotta find some way to do I gotta figure out how many the most in a row he's done, and I gotta find a way to serve him.
I think he was my co-host for like the first 40 to 50 episodes of this podcast.
I know.
Okay. Can you do a Jason Murphy impression?
No.
Okay.
No.